talk like Charlie McCarthy.
Let's watch on the monitor.
All right, quiet down, quiet down. I am Enoch. I am your Lord and charismatic leader, remember? And, hey, what's the least law here? Hey!
Oh, he's getting it.
Hey!
Oh.
Hey, curb your buddy over there. Oh!
Close your eyes. Listen. 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 Well, now, the easiest way to get into the meditative state is to begin by listening. If you simply close your eyes and allow yourself to hear all the sounds that are going on around you, just listen to the general hum and buzz of the world as if you were listening to music. Don't try to identify the sounds you're hearing. Don't put names on them. Simply allow them to play with your eardrums. And let them go. In other words, you could put it, let your ears hear whatever they want to hear. Don't judge the sounds. There are no, as it were, proper sounds or improper sounds, and it doesn't matter if somebody coughs or sneezes or drops something. It's all just sound. And if I am talking to you right now and you're doing this, I want you to listen to the sound of my voice just as if it were noise. Don't try to make any sense out of what I'm saying, because your brain will take care of that automatically. You don't have to try to understand anything. Just listen to the sound. As you pursue that experiment, you will very naturally find that you can't help naming sounds, identifying them, that you will go on thinking, that is to say, talking to yourself inside your head automatically. But it's important that you don't try to repress those thoughts by forcing them out of your mind, because that will have precisely the same effect as if you were trying to smooth rough water with a flat iron. You're just going to disturb it all the more. What you do is this. As you hear sounds coming up in your head, thoughts, you simply listen to them as part of the general noise going on, just as you would be listening to the sound of my voice, or just as you would be listening to cars going by or to birds chattering outside the window. So look at your own thoughts as just noises. And soon you will find that the so-called outside world and the so-called inside world come together. They are a happening. Your thoughts are a happening, just like the sounds going on outside. And everything is simply a happening, and all you're doing is watching it.
No, lighting's fine. Okay, cool. It'll happen eventually.
Can you hear the past?
I will be right back.
Can you hear the
grab
future?
something.
Can you hear the listener?
Dave, I'll come right back. So stay.
Where do the sounds come from? Let them tell you the truth. 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 Now, in this process, another thing that is happening that is very important is that you're breathing. And as you start meditation, you allow your breath to run just as it wills. In other words, don't do at first any breathing exercise, but just watch your breath breathing the way it wants to breathe. And notice a curious thing about this. You say in the ordinary way, I breathe, because you feel that breathing is something that you are doing voluntarily, just in the same way as you might be walking or talking. But you will also notice that when you are not thinking about breathing, your breathing goes on just the same. So the curious thing about breath is that it can be looked at both as a voluntary and an involuntary action. You can feel on the one hand, I am doing it, and on the other hand, it is happening to me. And that is why breathing is a most important part of meditation, because it is going to show you, as you become aware of your breath, that the hard and fast division that we make between what we do on the one hand and what happens to us on the other is arbitrary. So that as you watch your breathing, you will become aware that both the voluntary and the involuntary aspects of your experience are all one happening. Now that may at first seem a little scary, because you may think, well, am I just the puppet of a happening, the mere passive witness of something that's going on completely beyond my control? Or on the other hand, am I really doing everything that's going along? Well, if I were, I should be God. And that would be very embarrassing, because I would be in charge of everything. That would be a terribly responsible position. The truth of the matter, as you will see it, is that both things are true. You can see it that everything is happening to you, and on the other hand, you're doing everything. For example, it's your eyes that are turning the sun into light. It's the nerve ends in your skin that are turning electric vibrations in the air into heat and temperature. It's your eardrums that are turning vibrations in the air into sound, and in that way you are creating the world. But when we're not talking about it, when we're not philosophizing about it, then there is just this happening, and we won't give it a name. When you breathe for a while, just letting it happen and not forcing it in any way, you will discover a curious thing, that without making any effort, you can breathe more and more deeply. In other words, supposing you simply are breathing out, and breathing out is important because it's the breath of relaxation. That's when we say, whew, and heave a sigh of relief. So when you are breathing out, you get the sensation that your breath is falling out. Dropping, dropping, dropping out, with the same sort of feeling you have as if you were settling down into an extremely comfortable bed. And you just get as heavy as possible and let yourself go. And you let your breath go out in just that way. And when it's thoroughly comfortably out and it feels like coming back again, you don't pull it back in, you let it fall back in, letting your lungs expand, 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 until they feel very comfortably full. And you wait a moment and let it stay there, and then once again you let it fall out. And so in this way you will discover that your breath gets quite naturally easier and easier, and slower and slower, and more powerful.
I'm feeling like I really need it to be tomorrow morning so this fucking paycheck will come through, because bitch, I got Halloween purchases to make. How dare capitalism stand in the way of me, the most important night of the year? How dare. Sitting here and I'm like, Satan, help your girl out. What's going on?
So that with
literally
these
your thing.
various aids, listening to
Your thing
sound,
is literally about
listening to your
which is
own
weird.
interior
It is
feelings and
literally your
thoughts,
thing.
just as if they were something going on, not something you're doing, but just happenings.
Lord of Darkness.
And watching your breath as a happening that is neither voluntary nor involuntary. You are simply aware of these basic sensations. Then you begin to be in the state of meditation. But don't hurry anything. Don't worry about the future. Don't worry about what progress you're making. Just be entirely content to be aware.
Now you might pray to God, y'all, but I like Lucifer best of all. Sunday school is a place for fools. It's hot in hell, but the devil's cool. Don't keep Satan waiting. Don't keep Satan waiting. So don't just sit there, join the club. Sell your soul to Beelzebub.
Hey, everybody, it is I, Count Jackula, your favorite satanic streamer, here yet again for another satanic stream. With me tonight, is Yogi Devdas, longtime friend, personal buddy, and
thinly veiled reincarnation of Aleister Crowley.
Yes, tell no one. That's why he's gonna go bald. Anyway, something I wanted to talk to Yogi about tonight was the documentary, the Max documentary, Ren Fair. Because I finished that thing. Now, for those of you who don't know, Ren Fair is a documentary about Texas's largest Renaissance festival. And the dude what runs it, who dresses like he dresses like a dictator. He's like 85 years old. He's got a walleye so bad he can see into the next room. And he's just the definition of gross old man. You know, but he's got a really bitchin' estate that his Renaissance festival has netted him. And it does look like one hell of a Renaissance festival, but man, I would not want to work for that guy.
It is the oldest and largest Ren Fair in the country.
Yeah, and I'm sort of like, why is he dressing up like Castro and shit? Like, why doesn't he dress like, I don't know, King George or something? You know, since everyone refers to him as King George, he could do that. I mean, we'd have to have revolutionary soldiers come up and shoot him. But, you know, 'cause this is America. But whatever, right? You know, dress up like a king. He could be King George the Second or something, you know, like whatever. Make some shit up.
The thing I love about it is the fact that he has bothered to have like a bunch of polo shirts printed with like military epaulets and fake medals embroidered into them. So every shirt he owns, he looks like a fascist general.
Yeah, and I'm just
down.
sort of like, I thought you were the Renaissance Fair guy. What the fuck is this shit?
And then the thing that makes it worse is that you find out, because this is what I loved, right, is the fact that Texas Renaissance Festival got so large that he was just like, oh, I have to buy the land for it to be on, and then I have to incorporate it as a city, right? It was like this, which he did, and it has been for years. And the way it's initially presented is, yeah, I wanted to make a place where all my employees could live and blah, blah, blah. And then when you actually look at it, it's like, oh, you've been the mayor here for 50 years. And you're also the employer of everyone who lives here.
Yeah, it's a company town.
You have created a fiefdom.
Yeah, no, he totally has. He totally has. And the thing what's like fucked up about it is that he acts like it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he totally acts like it. But that's not even the grossest part of this guy. You know, the grossest part of this guy is the fact that he keeps talking about wanting a companion. You know, not a wife, not a girlfriend, not a relationship, a companion. And you're just, first of all, you're like, that's a real weird way of saying that, dude.
And I want to point out, this man is like in his aughts. He's in his
80s. He's in his mid. He's now in his late 80s.
And throughout this entire documentary, he keeps referring to his ideal partner as a young woman, no older than, what was it, 25, I think,
or 30s.
Mm-hmm. And he had measurement requirements, like waist can't be more than this, has to have like double D breasts. And
yeah, they have to be natural and like shit like that. And I found myself going like, dude, you've been king so long, you forgot beggars can't be choosers. You know, but more importantly, this is where it gets real gross. Like, yeah, you thought we were done. This is where it gets real gross, which is, okay, so he starts trolling sugar daddy websites, right? Looking for a baby doll. Okay, fine. Okay, maybe that's what this guy needs. No problem. But the way he treats the potential applicants is just abhorrent. First of all, he meets them at Olive Garden, and I'm like, if you guys sugar daddy this shit, maybe you want to go up the next tier of like restaurant or bar, you know, someplace where, you know, not so ostentatious that like you've got to be a member of high society, but maybe, you know, actually flex a little bit of the cash, since that's kind of the idea. But the guy's so cheap. He's a millionaire and he's cheap as fuck.
Oh, but Jack, Olive Garden, when you're here, you're oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I couldn't finish the statement.
Yeah. I had Horger who said, yeah, well, when you're in the middle of like a small town, Olive Garden is the expensive place. And I'm like, there's relatively upscale, and then there's sugar daddy upscale. Come on.
Also, it's a town he built.
Yeah.
He could make something else. And honestly, when you said the most disgusting thing, I thought you were going to go with the fact that this man, his personal residence is made to look like a small version of a king's castle, but the entire thing is Rococo.
Yeah.
The entire thing is Rococo architecture, painting, and stuff. And if y'all out there are thinking to yourself, wait a minute, isn't Rococo the shit that is so ostentatious and maximalist that it looks at Baroque architecture and goes, hold my beer?
Hold my beer. Yeah.
Yes.
It's also really popular among fascists.
It is.
Among fascist leaders, which is probably why he chose it. You know, and he keeps talking about the Rococo architecture in his place. It's Rococo. How many times this guy just keeps saying Rococo whenever he talks about it? You're like, yes, you learned a fucking word from an architecture or art history fucking book. Shut the fuck up.
That bathroom was awful.
That bathroom is hideous. Like before you realize how much money this guy's got, you're just sort of like, oh, this is kind of cute. He put together, he had whatever like extras the Renaissance Fair wasn't using and installed them in his house. That's kind of cute. And you realize, no, he designed it this way on purpose. And you're just like, dude.
Oh, or how about
who you trying to impress? Nobody else lives here.
Or how about the fact that he was raised Mormon and he's an ex-Mormon, but he talks to angels.
Yeah. He talks to angels, and
he's got a shrine. He's got a shrine. Like, imagine a small Catholic chapel, but no saints, no Virgin Mary, no Jesus. Well, no, there's like one Jesus, but the rest of it is just fuck off, so many amounts of statues of angels like piled on top of each other, all staring at you and shit. It's uncomfortable.
And the fucking documentary does this weird thing whenever he's there too, which is they actually put in voices where the angels talk to him. It's weird.
It sounds like,
and they're like, sell, you know, and then they'll be like, sell the fair, George. No, don't sell the fair, George. You know, because one of the big thing about this, the plot of this documentary is there are two guys who are trying to be in charge of this Renaissance fair because this motherfucker gonna die at some point, right? Well, apparently not. Apparently he's just Mr. Burns.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, so here's the thing. All this shit that we just said about this guy is secondary. That's B and C plot shit. The main plot of this thing is that it's literally Game of Thrones for control of the Ren Fair.
Art Nouveau and Art Deco is different than Rococo.
Very different.
It's very different. It's very different. You know, Rococo's got a lot of gold. Like, imagine Trump's apartment with, like, more columns and flourishes. Like, it hurts to look at. You know, Art Nouveau is nice. It's all like, it's got these lovely curves, you know, it doesn't need to be gold plated, everything.
Yeah, I like Art Nouveau.
Yeah, Art Nouveau and Art Deco is really nice, you know, but
he also has a statue of himself.
He also has a statue of himself.
Yeah.
He has a statue of himself. And the thing that is really, really upsetting is that everyone's like, well, the statue looks really good, and so we have to make up a story for why it's not that bad. And it's one of those, you're getting this backwards. You're getting this backwards. People aren't mad that he spent money on the statue, which is the situation they think they're correcting. Well, we didn't actually pay any money for this. And I'm like, that's not the problem. The problem is that no one actually wants an actual king, and he's acting like one. It's pissing people off.
It's like, no, the statue isn't the problem. Oh, what's the problem? Literally everything else
about it existing. You know, like, that's why it's one of those, like, no, maybe have motherfucker put this in his house, you know, as opposed to the fairground, because, like, the other problem is it doesn't look like a fantasy Renaissance fair king, you know, and so it looks weirdly out of place. It's not as out of place as people in Star Trek uniforms going to the Renaissance fair, but, like, you look at it, you're kind of like, oh, that seems out of place.
No, because it looks like the kind of statue that you commemorate a dictator with.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
Yeah, and you're like, you want this in the Renaissance fair? The fuck is wrong with you? You know, and they have, like, dress requirements for all the employees, which in the beginning is like, okay, sure. But he takes it to this extreme where it's like, well, they're not really taking their job seriously if they don't wear the right hat. And I'm like, did you give them the hat? Do they have to buy the hat?
Meanwhile, the entire time that he's, like, going off about
this, they're counting buttons and shit. And I'm like, they're counting buttons on vests and shit and I hate that. Like, that is a thing that happens at restaurants, in Renaissance fairs, that I hate, when people are counting buttons. And I'm like, if you're counting buttons in a Renaissance fair, you have fucking officially missed the point.
And the entire time you're just sitting there and you're looking at him, you're like, hey, George, hi, are you looking at me or are you looking 90 degrees the other way? Fucking fix your eye, bitch.
Oh my God, yeah, at least wear
me.
an eye patch or something, man. Dictators wear those. You know,
Like,
because like you're like, which one where are you looking, man? Are you even looking at me? I can't even tell.
And I need to point out, we're not making fun of a man for having a lazy eye. What we are doing is mocking a man who has
takes
the highest
way too seriously.
Takes himself way too seriously, has the highest physical demands for everyone else around him. And I'm like, you're not looking at me right now, and your face is headed at the camera. I need you to maybe not throw stones in your giant ass glass house.
Oh, well, that's exactly his Rococo glass house. You know, like he fucking all the man does is throw stones. Like all he does, and he's one of those guys where like all these people are like sucking up to him, and I'm just sort of like, why are you all sucking up to this guy? And it's because he has money.
And again, I want to remind everyone that the main plot of what we're talking about is what if Game of Thrones, but for the country's largest Ren Fair.
Yeah. And there were 2 times when he sells the fair and at the very last minute decides not to sign.
And then you realize, oh my God, this man is fucking with these people.
Yeah, he's fucking with these people. Now, I didn't care when he was fucking with the King of Corn guy.
The Lord of Corn!
The Lord of Corn, because I was like, look, this guy, is the Lord of Corn. The guy who runs the concession area is the Lord of Corn because they make kettle corn. And I was sort of like,
and he was the first one. He was the first one to sell the kettle corn. He cornered a market on it. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, sure, cool, fine, whatever. You're Lord of Corn, and you know he comes from a rich family and he wants to buy the fair, and I'm like, I don't think this guy should be running it. He's got a lot of bright ideas, and he's certainly a go-getter, and he's certainly got ambition.
He's also chugging Red Bull like someone who used to do heroin.
Yeah.
And no one out there, don't you say shit, because if you know someone who is a
if
former
you need
user
more than
and has
2
turned to that
energy drinks in a day, you officially got a problem. And this guy is like regularly drinking like 8 to 12 in a day.
Dude, I'm sorry, but when I see someone who's like rail thin to the point where you could see ribs if the shirt was like fucking skinny as fuck. Someone who is that thin and yet drinks an entire pack of Red Bull in a solid day, I'm like, oh, you used to
do
party.
coke.
You used to party, didn't you?
Yeah, he walks behind the cans. That's a good one, Cat Hermit. But yeah. So you're like, no, this guy doesn't have the right attitude. He's just gonna make it all about himself, just like George did. And then you're gonna be in the same position, but in a guy who doesn't actually know how to run a fair. That's not good. And then there's the second in command who could not. I'm like, he's a very nice guy. He's a very good manager, but he's not an owner or a leader.
He's
any stretch of the imagination. And you feel bad for the guy, but eventually you're just sort of like, dude.
He's a bootlicker.
Yeah, you're a bootlicker. So stop trying to be in charge of shit. You can't be a bootlicker and in charge of shit. That doesn't work.
Also, yes, John in the chat, we are talking about the Ren Fair docu-series. You see, Jack, John is the one who subjected me to the Ren Fair docu-series, which means I had to pass the curse along to you.
You did. Mm-hmm. But when King George first meets his like potential baby dolls, right? The first thing he mentions is their tits. And I was like, bro.
To them. Like, to them.
To them.
At the dinner
Yeah,
table.
not like to the
In public.
camera or something in private, but like and I was like, bro, how bad, your vision must be worse than I thought, because if you can't tell small fake tits from a picture, you're blind as shit. At which point, why do you care?
Also,
You know,
look,
because and the thing is that I'm like, no, these girls they're ready for that. They're ready for this horse shit. They're baby dolls, you know, like they're looking for a sugar daddy. They're ready for this shit. And even so, you're like, dude, that's disrespectful. Like, that's disrespectful. That you're being disrespectful to a woman who is ready to be objectified. That's amazing. That is amazing. How did you do that? You know, and that I'm like, look, I love tits myself, but it's not going to be the first thing I fucking mention.
Well, George has been living in George land for quite some time. And
yeah,
the brain
Hoes don't work by George land. Hoes work by Holand
rules.
You know, Holand rules is different. And the thing that is so funny is that they were totally willing to get on that ride, but they're also totally willing to not get on that ride.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he is used to people who are going to kiss his ass metaphorically. But he is not used to someone who will kiss his ass literally, but metaphorically it's like, oh no. Oh no, that's not how this works.
Oh my God. How about like when the fair first opens, like first like day of the season and all that shit? How about him and his magical Mexican man? Well, I don't. It's like, remember that shit? Remember that whole shit?
Yeah.
That whole shit of just like wait, only that many? I don't know. Jose said it was going to be this many, and he's never been wrong. And I'm just like, the head count was wrong, George. He literally makes them change head count records to accommodate for the guess that one of his random workers makes at the beginning of the day. It's weird.
Yeah, and he's off by a couple thousand.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's off by a bit, you know.
Ooh, wait a minute. John's like, should I tell Jack my horrible revelation about the show? Yes. Depression. Do it.
Actually, he has a magical Mexican who can always guess numbers correctly, except he doesn't.
He has a magical Mexican. The fuck? Yeah, he does.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, and I thought when he would make his appearance at the Renaissance Festival, he would king it up. You know what I mean? Like, dressed in that big fluffy coat with the little black dots on the white bit.
Yeah,
you know,
no,
put a crown on.
Nope, doesn't even do
that. He just comes in looking like wall-eyed white Castro, and George is a mini Trump. Yes, he is. He's gross.
But read that last sentence that John wrote.
Mini fiefdom, and he's not the only one.
He's not the only one.
No, he's not. And I just found myself, because there's a part of me that is like, You've got the money. But money don't buy taste.
Correct.
Money don't buy taste. Money don't buy aesthetics. Money don't buy a personality. Money apparently can't even get a baby doll if you do it wrong.
Yeah, isn't that fascinating? It's like, wow, we have found that there is a critical point where the shittiness and lack of humanity like collides with the amount of money, and it causes severe drop off on that chart of hoe buyability.
Yeah. You're like, oh, hoes do anything for money. Turns out, no.
Turns out there is a line.
Yeah, turns out there's a line. You know, like
there's a line you can reach without even getting into nasty shit.
Yeah. Before we've even gotten to that. You know, just as a person who is soliciting the hoe, you can already be out of the game because of the way you are and the way you act, which when you think about it, you're like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. That's a basic survival mechanism in that occupation.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. It's one of those things where it's like,
you know, because I really get it. Like, I really get it. This weird guy with a walleye is being very strange, very weird, doesn't seem to understand how the humans talk. What's going through your mind is he going to skin me and wear me as a coat?
Because I don't think that's worth the money.
Yeah, because there's no money in the world that's worth that kind of risk.
You know, that's the thing, right? Like the ability to fail at hoeing.
That's a new level.
Yeah, which theoretically we all knew must have been there.
Yeah. But we didn't. We thought we thought it would be like, you know, on a hoe by hoe basis.
Mm-hmm.
No, it turns out you can actually kind of unilaterally just be in that.
Which is fascinating.
Yeah. It's super fascinating. And when you watch the guy interact with these girls, you're like, yeah, no shit. Oh my God. You know, like I don't know how to say it other than, yeah, that is this guy gonna fucking wear me as a suit? That kind of worry becomes real.
Cat Herm in the chat's like, well, I guess I have another Max doc to watch right after Chimp Crazy. Yes, you do.
Yes, it doesn't get less crazy though. I'm gonna tell you that. Chimp Crazy is just insane in another way, because I don't care if they're like, well, these chimps are part human. It's one of those like, all right, well, now you've said something that means that no matter what you're doing is horribly wrong.
Yeah, because now you are
either now abusing an animal or imprisoning a person. Neither's good. But like, just stop it. A chimpanzee is not like, you can tell that it's because with the chimp people, the chimp women in particular, that it's because it's a child that never grows up in their mind. And I find myself going like, yeah, so it's still all about you.
Mm-hmm.
And wow.
What I loved about Chimp Crazy, though, was the end of every episode made me go, oh, no.
I know, right? Well, it was also that one
it kept
thing.
Topping itself. It kept topping.
Yeah. Like, she immediately goes from saying that she has no idea where the chimp is in front of a judge several times to going downstairs to where she is keeping the chimp without missing a beat.
It's one of those things where you got to look at it and you have to think to yourself, okay, even if you didn't realize who the actual director of this documentary was, and you didn't realize that PETA and Alan Cumming on the other side of this were also being talked to.
Yeah.
Okay, even if you didn't realize that, you signed off for a documentary. You knew that people were going to watch this, and you, on camera, went, hey, follow me. Look at this giant felony I committed.
Yeah.
Why?
What? Here's the chimp that I've been professing in front of a court that I don't have. It's like, you didn't even hide it from the documentary crew.
Like, it's like there's no way you thought this was going to work out for you.
Okay, here's the thing: the Renaissance Fair guy and Tiger King have a lot in common, but the Renaissance Fair guy is way crazier. He just didn't commit any crimes.
Technically correct.
Yeah, technically correct. You know, like the best kind of correct. Like, he does a lot of things that are like unethical. That probably should land him in prison, but they're not technically crimes.
Like, I would love for OSHA to walk through on any given day.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I really would.
Fuck yeah. But the thing that was so fucking annoying is, so he blames he has bootlickers just so he can blame them. You know, which is disgusting. It's like, you're supposed to have bootlickers so that they do things for you. Physically. Mm-hmm. Like, perform tasks for you. But then I realized, no, this is why you choose a bootlicker, is so that they just inflate your ego. Yes. You know they're not good. Other people know that they're not good. It was also one of those things where it's like,
if they were, they wouldn't be here.
They wouldn't be here. It was like, oh, I get it. You didn't want that guy to hire his wife to be his assistant, not because it would be unethical and seen as nepotism, because it's a Renaissance Fair. You did it because you didn't want him to be able to amass power.
Because his wife makes him feel good about
himself. And that means you can't make him feel bad about himself at any given fucking moment. And that guy just kept coming back for more, which was the point where I was like, I can't respect you.
George fires this man with no severance package, no pension plan, no insurance, just fires this man. And then after about, what is it, like a year or so of him struggling, George allows him to drag his belly back to him and hires him again at a lesser position.
Yeah.
And this man thanks him for it. And you're just like, you miserable worm.
Yeah. No, and anyone who can run an effective organization will tell you that is something you never do. If you fire someone, you fired them for a reason, right? So why would you want them back?
Turns out, no, George just fucking fires people.
Yeah, he just fires people. And fandoms have a bunch of these old fucks. I stopped going to one of my local science fiction conventions because he would do that shit. Because I'm just sort of like, oh, and not because I really cared about the way he ran his organization. Well, I did, but like, I didn't work for him or anything.
Right.
I was just mad because I was like, oh, so the show's never going to get better. It's never going to get better because this is what you do every time. Mm-hmm. This will never be a bigger convention than it is now. This will never have more than it has now. And I already come here and go, wow, despite the number of people that are here, this convention feels very, very, very small. I have been to conventions with half the attendance that felt way bigger, that had way more to do. You know, Baycon. You know, like people are like, "Why'd you stop going to Baycon?" Because it sucks. It's a bad show.
Although, Jack, we must tell the children of our favorite quote unquote character in the entire documentary, and that's old chain smoking fairy grandmother.
Oh yeah, who shows up in the first episode?
Yeah. No,
isn't she like George's ex-wife or something?
I don't think so. That's the thing about it. I don't think she is. But for everyone out there, there's this old there's this old woman who is like one of his original employees and has lived in his incorporated city ever since he founded it. She's this old woman who has been playing the fairy godmother for like over 50 years. And it like shows her in like her early pictures with this elegant gown and everything. But when we're following her, she's totally stripper grandma.
Yes.
She's totally stripper grandma because she's like this old woman, like old woman wearing fairy wings, by the way, wearing like strap-on fairy wings while she has like a regular around the house outfit on. And she's just sitting there with a cigarette going, all right, here, I'll tell you about George. And she's got like that voice to it. And I'm just
let me tell you about George. Well, you know.
And I'm just like, I love this one.
I was like, man, I wish the drama had more room for her, you know, but like, you can tell she's just kind of done with it.
Every time it cut back to her narrating like a tiny little thing, I was like, no, stay with her more. I want to know more.
Yeah. Oh, John, no, Bacon's worse. Imagine a celebrity. It's not a celebrity petting zoo. It is a con that is totally rested on its laurels and so attracts no new people. You know, because it wants to be pure. And
what is that even?
What is that even? And the thing is that I'm like, no, you always want to check out the dealer's room because that tells you how well the con's going. And every year that shit got smaller and smaller and smaller. Well, we got panels. Fuck your panels. Panels are there so that people can pretend that they're not just here to hang out. Okay? I'm not saying they're not important, but let's be honest.
This is also true.
You know, let's be honest. Unless it's an actual celebrity or an actual expert on your goddamn panel, those panels are worthless. Never go to a fan fiction panel. Never go to a fan fiction panel. It will not help you. It won't even help you meet people.
You know what I think the best panel I've ever been to in a convention ever was?
Yeah.
It was an After Dark panel.
Mm-hmm.
It was an adults only After Dark panel. And the entire thing was, okay, we're going to actually try to look at, measure, and follow the physics of breasts in anime. It was hilarious.
Well, yeah, because that's how to put it. That's not just a panel. That's a presentation. That's entertainment.
And I'd like to
now, I'm not saying that a panel can't be entertaining. I'm just saying that they're usually not.
Correct. There's a certain amount of strokage going on. You know.
This is why, despite the fact that I consider myself a mystic and an occultist, I don't go to any of those gatherings. They're so awful.
Who wants to go to a large meeting of the Dark Moon and Moose Cult? Like who wants
Who wants that? You know, it's like, look, I get that this panel is really about a bunch of old guys trying to get laid. Trust me, I understand. I'm looking to build such a repertoire myself. But do you have to bore the rest of us in the process?
I think It's kind of like how, like, on the witchcraft side of things, how I refuse to go anywhere that refers to itself as the, whatever the title is, circle.
Yeah, I felt that one.
It's like, oh, no, absolutely not. No way in the nine hells. No.
Yeah, because you know what that's going to be? That's going to be like, that's going to be Karen's and Becky's wall to wall. And that is not good times. That is not good times.
If you insist upon a Gardnerian 3-degree system and don't have the balls to call yourself legitimately a coven, I don't want nothing to do with you.
Yeah, it's, oh God, don't white lighter me. You know, like, please don't do that. I have enough crystals. You know, because they're gonna sell you crystals and palm readings, and I'm just like, look, I can get that anywhere.
These people who, if you were to grab their iPhone, open their iTunes setting and hit shuffle, you know, within 3 shuffles, you're gonna hit I am the sun and the air. You know it. You know the Charmed soundtrack is on there somewhere. Don't you fucking lie to me. It's there.
Another one that I can't another one I can't. Okay, like I'm such an asshole. I see those panels and I'm like, yep, this looks like they have a podcast.
Oh no.
Yeah. Because, hey, I've listened to enough of them. Oh boy. I really love listening to a podcast of a bunch of people who know less than I do. That is always amazing.
It's one of those things where, okay, I do have a selection of podcasts I listen to, but here's the thing. I am never listening to more than 4 podcasts at any given time. And do you know why it's such a low number?
Hey, you had a podcast, but some people have podcasts the way old guys have cars. And that's where it goes wrong. Like, so many podcasts just lack basic interest factor.
Yeah, no, John, your podcast was
you were trying.
Not to put too fine a point on it, but your podcast, John, was good. it was actually good.
Yeah. The personality of the host goes a long way, and it's everything. That's what I've learned. It's like, no. The hosts are everything. You know, if you don't have a good host, you're screwed. You know, yeah. If you want to do it for fun, let me put it this way. You don't introduce yourself as having a podcast. You know, like, so here's the other thing. All right, John, I don't consider you part of this group, but this is the most important thing. Hand it down from one artist to me. I hand it to all of you. And I've said it before. I'll say it again. Job number 1, don't suck. A lot of podcasts suck. Now, that's okay. I think that there should be a place where you can go to bomb. I absolutely believe that. That's why I liked being a video reviewer for when I did. You could suck. You could bomb. Well, I mean, you didn't want to suck, but you could bomb. You could bomb pretty badly.
In fact, that became a niche.
Yeah, and you could bomb pretty badly, and you could learn from that and then do better. You know, like, that's why it's great to have a place where you can just bomb, where you can just eat shit. You know, it's why there's a difference between a stand-up comedian and everybody else. You know, is the ability to go do that. Now, another thing that I don't like about stand-up comedians is so many of them are there just to inflate their own ego and not be funny. Because you would think that the main thing people were there for was to be funny. No. That takes talent. And not all stand-up comics have talent.
It's why, to this day, one of the few comedians I will always listen to is Patton Oswalt.
And he ate shit for years. He ate shit on stage for years. You know, like, it took him like a good, 10 years of solid trying before he was funny.
I think my favorite thing he ever said, my favorite bit, is he did I know you've heard it. He did this one bit where he was just like, I'll be honest with you, I think part of the reason that I can just come out here and kind of almost effortlessly seeming do all this shit is because, a lot of comedians are always like scared about like what's going to be like their worst performance. I got mine out early.
Yeah.
And he goes on this huge winding story about the time that he threw up in his own mouth and shit himself on stage. The flu.
Yeah.
And he thought that and if you're a theater kid, you know what this is. He thought the actor adrenaline, the performance adrenaline, was gonna carry him through.
Yeah.
He was wrong.
Yeah.
And he points out, he's like, I hope every performer can have an early experience like that, because once you shit yourself on stage, no, what's anyone gonna say? What can anyone do to you? You've shit on stage.
Yeah, that's what made Gigi Allen so powerful. Yeah, Bill Burr. Bill Burr could get away with saying offensive shit because he's funny.
Also, to be fair, and anyone who watches him knows this, he has actually changed.
Oh, yeah. You watched him change. Yeah.
Bill Burr has actually, done the thing of, I started going to therapy. I started to, talk about my feelings and shit. And, I was fucked up for a long time. Fucked up. A lot of the things I used to say, really fucked up.
Yeah, actually, my favorite. I like his writing a lot more than I like his stand-up. His writing's actually a lot more. It's actually really clever. What was that? F is for Family. That he wrote.
Literally the magnum opus.
Dude, my favorite joke is still, look what I got to deal with. He's trying to divide the luggage by race.
Look at that idiot down there. He's dividing the luggage by race. Throws a black colored suitcase into a jet engine. Go back to Africa.
Yeah. It's, oh my God.
Get tackled on the runway by workers.
Yeah. Also, a character created just to be publicly humiliated in the end, which was pretty glorious. Yeah. It's sometimes it's hard for me to watch because it's like, ooh, wow. Okay.
No. My favorite thing in that first season is when he leaves Bob Pogo locked in the car at the end of the season.
Yes. Yeah.
That's my favorite thing. It's like,
after he's gotten fired.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you want your keys? Don't you dare throw them. I wouldn't do that to you, Bobby. they're right at your feet.
Your feet. He's this
You
big
son of
fat
a
guy who
bitch!
can't bend over.
You can't leave me here! I'll die! And he almost does. That's the thing.
Oh my god.
He comes back with this horrible story. I had frostbite on my fingers. I had to shit myself to keep warm. I was attacked by wolves.
Yeah. But if it's for family, it can be hard to watch because, like, in order to put Bill Burr in a situation where he can Bill Burr at you, everybody's got to be worse.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not sure if he's openly talked about this. I feel like he must have at some point, right? Like it really feels that him making F is for Family was him working through his childhood trauma. It feels like a lot of it is him working through his own shit, and it seems like why after the show he seems a lot more mellow.
Yeah. Like it's very clear that the main character is like Bill Burr playing his own dad, and Bill himself in this situation is the fuck up son.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it's pretty obvious, you know. Yeah. Oh god. So anyway, those are examples of someone saying awful things but still being funny. A lot of comedians just say awful things and are offensive, or worse yet, boring.
And
now, offensive is already bad.
But if you have the audacity to be this offensive, this what's the word I'm looking for? This contra, and yet be boring at the same time.
Yeah. That's the end. That's pack of shit up. You know, like pack of shit. You know, go back, change your face or something, because why don't you move to the woods and stop bothering people?
It's that fucking Quagmire moment, you know, of and you know what the worst of it, Brian, is? I could forgive all of it if you weren't such a bore. That's the worst, Brian. You're just a big, sad, alcoholic bore.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, that's honestly how I feel about Seth MacFarlane, actually. But that's you can tell me I'm wrong, but I'm not. You can sit there and tell me I'm wrong, but I'm not.
You're not entirely wrong.
Okay.
But because I'll say this, I started watching that TED TV show.
I can't.
It's actually pretty good. It's actually really good. Because the worst part of the movies isn't there.
Oh, Mark Wahlberg is
Mark
there?
Wahlberg is not in it.
Oh, okay. Do you like how you said, before you even said anything, you said like the worst part I automatically knew?
Yeah. Because Mark Wahlberg is the kid they got to play that character, but younger. It all of a sudden everything starts working. You know, it's like all the scenes where it's just Ted, which are the scenes of those movies that work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like that all the time, you know, and the thing that I like about it is it also takes the jokes go in directions that you would not normally go. My favorite being the one about the bully. There's an episode all about the school bully.
Okay.
And so they find out that the school bully has desperately wants to meet his father because he's never met him. So Ted begins to impersonate his dad. Yeah.
Okay.
And starts telling him fucked up shit to get the bully to kill himself. But here's the twist.
Okay.
They end up starting to feel really bad about it and try to fix it. And then they get emotionally attached to the school bully as if he was their son. And then they start arguing with each other on how best to raise him. And I was like, okay, this one's really good.
I will give you as a conceit, that is hilarious.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, that was actually pretty brilliant. Oh man. All right. But in my defense, I love you. Is that not working anymore? I love you. Now it seems to be working.
No.
Oh man. Like, no, it's probably Seth MacFarlane at his best in that show. Because I've seen him at his not tryingest. I've seen a lot of Family Guy. You know, there are times you're like, man, you're not even trying. You know, but this one, it's good because it's long form. There are no cutaway gags. Like, you could tell that was like a mandate. No cutaway gags. We're just going to literally build every joke.
Well, yeah, because I honestly don't know what's been Seth MacFarlane's longest running crutch, the alcoholism or the cutaway gags.
Definitely a bit of both.
Yeah.
Definitely a bit of both. But he's at least not using cutaway gags in this one. I don't know how his alcoholism is doing. I don't know the man.
Well, considering he made an entire Family Guy episode about the concept of, like, the 12-step program is bullshit. You don't need to give anything up. Just choose moderation. I'm like, this is you making an excuse for your own admitted alcoholism, isn't it, Seth? That's what this is. This is you projecting in a way that makes me want to punch you.
Yeah. Because the problem of alcoholism is that you cannot moderate it.
It's like
if you could moderate it, you wouldn't be an alcoholic.
This isn't how addiction works.
Yeah. Like, well, it's like, well, that's the other thing. That's the other thing that I think is so interesting about alcoholism, which it does seem to be in many ways its own thing. Mm-hmm. You know, like I've known alcoholics that gave up Coke easy. You know,
it's kind of like how, like, we all know people who have, like, been able to kick heroin but can't kick cigarettes.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
yeah. And it's one of those, like, I get it. I get being addicted to something, but there seems to be this very, very particular, like, it's very weird because it's an avoidance tactic. Because they have to shut off.
Are we talking about addiction or alcoholism?
Alcoholism specifically.
Okay.
Yeah. Where it's like you have this thing. Mm-hmm. You can't deal with your emotions while the rest of while your consciousness is intact. Just simply have a hard time dealing with it, and then. So you use the alcohol because it needs to be expressed. It goes overboard. You forget you've expressed it, and then the cycle continues.
See, look here, and also here's the thing, right? And obviously, I'm speaking about this from experience, which is that what you just said is true, but also the other thing that's so insidious about alcohol addiction specifically is that alcohol is very easily just as socially, mentally, and physically destructive to a person who's addicted to it as like harder drugs.
Oh yeah, definitely.
it's just as destructive. It create, you know, like we all know people who like we've all seen monsters be made from alcohol.
Oh yeah.
It's horrendous, and yet it is more easily available than tobacco to buy.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so particular, is that it's such a easily created and available addiction.
Yeah, it is. But I've noticed that the difference between the regular drinker and the alcoholic seems to be this particular function. You know, like these emotions behind the walls get built up and they have to be released somehow. But the mechanism by which it is released is alcoholism.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, whoa, that's horrible and insidious. Because, like, I have talked to, for example, I got alcoholic friends. We have literally tread the same ground over the same traumatic events over years. And while I would never say I've gotten over it, I've gotten to other stages of that way faster, where they're still like kind of in stage one.
I was about to say, like, yeah, no, we tend to get stuck really, really fast and hard.
Yeah, and I'm wondering whether that has to do with the destructive memory aspect of it. You know, like, I have to do this thing that kind of fucks with my memory in order to express this thing, but I then don't remember that I did it.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, because I'll be honest with you, it's I think it's very weird that, like, as someone who currently indulges very heavily in cannabis, I think it's very funny how.
Well, yeah, people on weed don't have the same particular problem. The worst anyone has ever been on weed around me is boring.
Okay, one, yes, but also when it comes to, like, memory issues, right? Everyone keeps wanting to tell you about how horribly destructive this shit is to memory and cognitive function, and I'm just like, I remember everything I've ever said or done while stoned, like everything.
Right.
I remember blacking out and waking up in a relationship. So, no, they are not. It's one of those weird things where I'm like, no, I think alcohol.
Yeah.
Much worse.
Yeah. It gets to this point where you're not there anymore. You know,
yeah, like, you go away.
Yeah, you go away, and the rest of you is running the show. The parts of you that are not self-aware, have nothing to do with self-awareness, run the show. And
which shouldn't be possible, and
yeah, which you feel like shouldn't be possible, but like it is. And like, for example, like I've had a couple friends die. I have literally gone over the same script with another friend over his death almost every time I see him when he's drunk. And it's like, other bad things have happened to you. You're still, but emotionally you're still here. You're still stuck at this point. And Yeah, I'm gonna say this ain't helping. You know, because I don't want to be callous, but it was 7 years ago. You know,
I think
and so you've either never dealt with it, which is but you're acting like you've never dealt with it, and probably because you haven't.
Because you haven't been dry a single day.
Yeah.
Years.
You haven't. When you've been sober, you haven't been doing this, and because the only time that you're sober is when you're in the flow state of your work.
Mm.
When your mind is occupied by anything other than the emotions that you're dealing with. And I also noticed that the way continuing alcoholics anyway, tend to emotionally deal with things as like an adolescent.
Yes.
You know, and adolescent moments seem to get caught there.
Yep.
You know, like it's very weird because like I don't like to be callous, but I had this one friend, this one guy I knew. This is way back. Where he would keep telling me the same story about his dad. And I'm like, you have told me this story like literally 100 times.
Well, I think it's because, I'll be honest with you, I really think it happens. And I think it's because that, I mean, think about it, right? Like those of us who get addicted to alcohol because of a legitimate pre-existing, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Disposition.
Yeah, a pre-existing like genetically based disposition for it, versus there's a difference between being an out and out alcoholic and being like, hey, I'm so depressed that I'm drinking myself into a hole.
Yeah,
these are equally bad and destructive, but their sources are stemming from slightly different.
Yeah. They have slightly different. They're stemming from different places. Yeah,
exactly. And those of us who like do have like a predisposition for it, our drinking problem usually begins in our late teens and early 20s. So yes, of course, our brains get stuck in that developmental state.
Yeah.
Because we keep destroying our frontal lobes. So you know.
Yeah. And no, this is something I noticed, and but one thing I can't stand, because this makes me really angry.
Ooh, okay.
Is when the alcoholism is the excuse.
Oh.
Like that's why that separates the people that I know the friends that I have who are alcoholics from the alcoholics that used to be friends.
Yep.
If they start using the alcoholism as an excuse, that's kind of where I dab out, because I'm like, dude, stop it. You know, there's no way I can tell you this in a way that matters. So I just have to do this for my own personal satisfaction. And that is, stop it. You can't do shitty things while you're fucking blitzed out of your mind, forget, and then ask for forgiveness every time. Especially when it's the same goddamn thing.
See, I think I can honestly say this. I never blamed or excused anything with my alcoholism. I did blame my alcoholism on other things. Which I think most of us do before we eventually decide.
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, no, I never was like, oh, but no, I'm sorry, that's not me. That was drunk.
Yeah.
Come on, you can't be mad at me. I was drunk. And I'm like, because I think at some level I always was cognizant of like, no, I am choosing to be drunk right now. That is a choice that I am making.
Yeah. Like I just, there was one where it was like, I know I'm in an open relationship, but I'm gonna need you to stop trying to fucking hook up with my girlfriend so hard. You know, she's getting uncomfortable. And she doesn't want to be mean. But I'm willing to be mean.
And that's really like the main party foul with an open relationship, isn't it? It's just like, you're being a creep. You need to leave.
Yeah, you're being a creep. And I'm not saying that just because you're trying to fuck my girlfriend, because like that was already in the cards.
But she doesn't wanna.
But she don't want, but she's getting more and more uncomfortable, and you're trying to get her to pity fuck you.
Oh, that's just gross.
Oh, it was bad. And
gross.
Oh man, the funniest thing was that guy eventually hooked up with my ex. And he was head over heels for her. You know, blah blah blah. And I was like, you keep doing that.
God bless.
God bless. You know, like you keep doing that. Blah 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 blah. Do you think they're good for each other? No, they're horrible it could be horrible for each other.
I want to watch.
One or two things is gonna happen. They're either gonna have a messy relationship, and I'm gonna be nowhere near it. Because I'm not gonna be anywhere near that fucking shit. Or one of my problems will solve itself.
Either way, I'm gonna have fun.
You know, like, damn. I was real done at that point. You know, because don't beg her to pity fuck you. Say that you're gonna meet her, get too drunk, and then strand her at a train station. Yeah, that's the level we're talking about.
We'll be right back, folks. No.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm gonna refill my coffee real quick. Hold on.
All right. Guess I'll entertain the masses. That was. Oh, damn. We getting into some shit over here. It's fucking Monday. What the fuck? It's the beginning of the goddamn week. Bears every time. Yes. Absolutely, yes. Oh. Let's see what's going on in the chat. How fares the me? I fare okay. I fare all right. I've been tired all weekend, so I'm just getting back into my shit, I guess. What a great way to start the week. Yeah, no, exactly. I just want it to be Halloween already. That's where I'm at. I really just want it to be Halloween already, but I want Halloween to last for a week. uninterruptedly. That's what I want the calendar to look like.
No. And as far as dating my ex, man.
Hey, Jack.
Yeah.
There's an onion ring on your
I
chest.
saw. You know, like, but I was gonna say, I was also gonna say before an onion ring decided to humiliate me. As far as the guy who was like dating the ex, he's telling me how amazing she is. Definitely doing the like, I've been on that ride. Ain't that great? I mean, it's okay. She'll get the job done. What I'm saying is she's the Ford Escort of Lay's. So, there's better, but it'll get you there. Don't come at me like this is some Rolls Royce Ferrari shit. Like, no, it isn't, you know?
Oh, God. Bit of a.
And that's why I worry that I'm going to end up like the Ren Fair dude. Right there. Because I can be that gross and horrible.
You see, okay, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
There's a prime difference. I think there's two prime differences, actually. Number one, you're not a multimillionaire.
Thank you, Yogi.
Hey. No one deserves to be one. No one deserves to be one. You keep forgetting. I'm one of the guys that want to kill all of them. So,
all right, so I'm broke. All right, what's... By the way, donation lines are open if you want to help me with my brokenness.
Bitch, so am I. I got $10 in my account right now. Don't even. And I work in education, so don't even. So number one, that. Number two, you have people around you, one of which is on a camera with you right now, one more of which is in the chat right now, who, if you were to even slightly begin acting like that, we would literally go to where you are to bitch slap you physically.
That's true. That's true. Also, I don't think if I was a multi-millionaire and I was looking to be someone's sugar daddy, which I could see my life. All right, I don't know about the money part, but I could see a way in which my life could turn in that direction. It would involve a lot of misfortune. It would involve a lot of misfortune, but I could see it. I could see myself getting there. I want to believe that at the end of that, the comments will be, no, he's a sweet guy.
Not thank God he died and gave me all that money.
Yeah. Yeah, I would rather it's like, no, he was a sweet guy. You know, like, I did not regret a minute of that. You know, I do not think of him as less of a person, you know, as less of a man or anything. You know, a little goofy, you know, but
oh, if I may, bit of a gear shift. I wanted to express, I was so fucking irritable and tired all goddamn day, and I blame the fact that I spent most of the weekend doing the shit I told you I was doing.
Right.
I'm always surprised at how tired you get after like doing like major shit. I always forget. For anyone who's watching this, we're about to talk about occultism, children.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, but before we do that, just want to say this.
Yeah.
John is like, the Dodge Neon. It can get up to 100 miles per hour, but no one's impressed. I'm like, Yeah. I have also, I got to be honest, I have had sex in both a Ford Escort and a Volvo sedan. The Volvo sedan is better.
Yes.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, despite the fact that it doesn't have that whole back area, there's somehow more room.
Man, it's we appreciate the German engineering. You know, like we appreciate it.
Swedish.
Oh. No, actually that makes even more sense.
No. They're
Yeah,
Swedish. That they made it out of the iron ore, you know.
I mean, they are the creators of IKEA. This makes sense.
Yeah, no. That car held together until I decided to try to play Jurassic Park, the home game, with it.
Sweden, giving us solid cars, affordable couches, and really bad meatballs.
Hey, look, you put that lingonberry sauce on it, you're like, actually, not bad.
Okay, to be fair, the lingonberry as a preserve does carry a lot of
It carries, yeah.
It carries a lot of weight.
Yeah.
As fuck.
It does a lot of lifting, but it does it very well.
Lingonberry sauce doesn't skip leg day.
You cannot fuck in a Cybertruck. That's what fucking. How you gonna make a car a sex symbol? You can't have sex in it.
No one here is volunteering to have sex inside a 3-year-old's drawing of a car, because that's what it looks like.
Yeah, like look down on old hot rod guys all you want. There are women who want to have sex with or on top, inside or on top of those vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the old guys are still into that shit. The Cybertruck. As someone said, as I heard someone on TikTok say, this is why we need the arts, because we cannot let engineers design shit.
You know what I find fascinating? Have you noticed that ever since, think about this for a hot second, like really think about this. Ever since the advent of the Cybertruck, people have stopped making fun of the Ford F-150. Like,
yeah, because you would at least qualify the Ford F-150 as a truck.
Yeah.
You know, may not be the best truck. It might have its entire fucking marketing scheme may be how big are the truck nuts you can pretend you have while you're driving this thing. Because Lord knows it's not going to be great for anything else. It is at least a truck, and it will at least go off-road. I have never heard of a truck that cannot go off-road. I kind of felt like that was one of its defining features.
Cybertruck made the Cadillac truck look like a Chevy.
Cybertruck made Chevy look like a real truck.
See, that was uncalled for. That was uncalled for.
Oh, man.
Damn. That was uncalled for. Oh, I will
never get over the moment a couple fake rednecks fucking trying to give us road assistance that didn't even know how to operate a wheel jack. And I'm sitting there going like, I'm a San Francisco pussy and I know how to work tire jack. I know how to locate it in the car. Every car comes with a tire jack and a spare. It's either a full spare or donut. You're driving a truck, I guarantee it's full-sized. You know, because trucks don't... A donut's not going to work on a truck. It's too big. So they give you the full-size spare. This looks like it's new, so I guarantee it's still in there. And the thing that was pissing me off, and I was like, if this guy had shown up in a fucking beater, I guarantee there'd be a spare and a tire jack, and the guy'd be able to fucking deal with it in 5 minutes. Why? Because he's driving a piece of shit truck, and he has to do that every 10 miles. Fucking Cybertruck, kiss my dick. No, the purpose of a truck is that that motherfucker is supposed to be able to get you out of any situation until the engine fucking explodes.
And carry shit.
And carry shit.
Who is buying lumber at Lowe's or Home Depot or Ace and putting it in a Cybertruck? Who? I ask you in the name of God, who? What is the point of it? Did I tell you about what happened the first time I actually saw a Cybertruck in the wild? Did I tell you what I did? It was next to me at a light.
Oh, you did.
For anyone here who doesn't know this story, I encountered a Cybertruck at a red light. It's right next to me, and I rolled my window down. I became so viscerally angry at the very presence of this thing. I rolled my window down and started screaming "fuck you" at the top of my lungs to the truck next to me until the green light happened. I was so angry at its existence.
You were incensed.
Yeah,
incensed.
The very sight of it makes me want to commit violence.
Well, yeah, this is why this is why your entire PR should not revolve around the CEO. Because the minute it does, the minute that guy is revealed to be an asshole, and he's a CEO, that gets transferred to the product. You do not want that happening. You do not want that to happen. You know? And
also, there's this whole... It's just the whole pretense.
Cybertruck, where apparently it can't recognize black people. Well, he is South African, so I wasn't too surprised about that. See, he can't recognize black people.
I don't think that's what it is.
Really?
I think it is because he's South African, but I think the whole thing of the truck can't recognize, no. He did that intentionally to kill black pedestrians. He did that intentionally because he's South African.
Yeah.
And as the song says, I've never met a nice South African.
Yeah. Oh, the richest man in the world is an African. What do you think about that, liberals? I think he's still a fucking white guy, and in South Africa, being the white guy in South Africa has always been a problem. Didn't you see Lethal Weapon 2?
He's literally a colonizer.
Yeah.
He is
Mel Gibson gets to make fucking jabs at white South African people. Mel Gibson, okay?
That says a lot, actually.
That says everything. You know, I could be a Holocaust denier and a Nazi, but at least I'm not a white South African. You know, that's my Mel Gibson impersonation. Yeah, diplomatic immunity. You know, come on. You don't remember that shit? Any Gen Xer don't remember that shit. Oh, I never watched Lethal Weapon 2. And I'm like, you're an idiot.
No.
I don't believe you.
No. Mousy down in the chat. Holy cheese, Batman. It's the apartheid mobile.
Oh my god.
It's the apartheid mobile.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh man. The other thing is, I always wonder, I understand what it is. I know what it really is. But I'm always mad that, no one ever argues with these, fucking chuds the way I do. They're like, yeah, but you're not using, logic. Well, neither are they.
See, this is what
I'm trying to use reason, not logic. Okay, you know, like it's a little bit different. I know that it's a, you know,
and the people who don't recognize the distinction between those two concepts are always the people who think they're smarter than you.
Yes. Yes. It's like, no, I use reason, not logic. Why? Because you can't use logic to win a stupid argument.
You can use reason to win most arguments.
Yeah, you can use reason to win most arguments, you know. But if you want to be logical, you want to be Vulcan about it, you know, you're going to lose, you know, because sometimes it's just about revealing how fucking ridiculous the opposition is. Yeah, just how fucking ridiculous, you know, like, sometimes a well-placed come on my entire ass will fucking win an argument for you. Do it right, you know? And then what are they going to say? Oh, well, that's because you're one of the elites. My nuts! This kind of diffuses that whole part of the argument. Oh, you're just saying that because you're a liberal. Yeah, a liberal's cussing you out and winning. You want to play dirty pool? We'll play dirty pool. How about that, you fucking man? Did your mom beat you off as a child? You know, like, the hell's going on with you? I refuse to play anyone else's game.
It's,
you know, in order to meet you on the battlefield of logic, I have to be we have to be doing it in good faith. We have to be doing it in good faith. And so often these arguments are in the worst faith imaginable.
To quote Helen Moore.
Was there a dog? Ooh. Oh, there's some sort of food. Oh, it's pork and beans. As in roasted pork and black beans out of a can, but still.
Sounds delicious.
It is.
You know,
it's well spiced. I like that.
Yeah. You know what else I really can't stand about Elon Musk is I can't stand his fake American accent.
I never thought of that, but you're right.
I can't stand it. Because if you ever listen to him, you can tell it's not his actual. You can tell it's an affectation. You can tell that. And the thing that makes it infuriating to me is I'm like, no, I'll tell you fucking why. I'll tell you fucking why Elon Musk has a fake American accent that he uses. It's not because he's selling things to Americans. That's not why. No. It's because you cannot have a South African accent, a white South Afrikaans accent, and not automatically sound like the racist piece of shit that you are. Yes, I am talking
diplomatic immunity.
Yes, I'm addressing all white South Africans right now. Your accent is racist. It just is.
Yeah. You're rolling up, and everyone here is like, "Why don't you bring the slaves around full beating while I drink a mint julep?"
It's like, no. It is. It also, I'm sorry, it just sounds tinny and awful on the ear.
Yeah.
You know, just like, it's like, oh, I'm from Johannesburg. Stop. Johannesburg. Stop.
Big. Yeah, like, yeah. It's like, oh my God, relax your jaw when you're pronouncing something a little bit. Moly fucking moly.
I don't know how you put a glottal stop in the word Johannesburg, but you did, and you need to stop. That shouldn't be possible. And yet you did it.
They found a way.
It's fucked. The whole concept of being a white South Africaner is fucked. It's just fucked.
Oh man, one of the biggest trips that I find myself going, wow, you really weren't paying attention, is when people are like, I can't believe that Bruce Springsteen is anti-Trump. Really?
Of course he is.
Of course he is. What are you talking about? Like, I would have been very disappointed if he was because of, like, you know, his music.
Yeah, but
weren't you listening to it?
These are also the people who don't realize that Born in the USA is an anti-Vietnam song.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like he had some opinions about that.
It's like people who never actually listened to the lyrics of It Ain't Me.
Oh, Fortunate Son?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like people who never actually listened to it, and I'm just like, oh, you just know it from the one film, don't you? You just know it.
Yeah, were they
that. Where they anachronistically put it against like pro-American propaganda choppers. That's all you know, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, actually, the funny thing was, in Kong Skull Island, when they recreated that scene but used Black Sabbath's Paranoid.
Makes all the sense in the world.
Oh,
actually.
man, that was so good. Oh, my God. But yeah. I low effort thinking. You know, people are like, oh, my God, are Trump supporters dumber? Yeah. How come? Because this is all low effort thinking. This is all thinking it's all based around things that you don't have to think about or that you don't want to think about. That's the entire appeal. So you're either stupid, lazy, or both.
Yeah,
you know,
like, and look, we're not calling, and I think this is the nicest thing you can say about them. We're not calling Trump voters dumber as a value judgment.
Oh, I am.
Oh well, all right.
I am.
But all right, but what I'm saying is we don't necessarily have to go at it from that angle. It can just be factual that they're less intelligent.
Well, the thing that makes me mad is that it engenders it. You know, it's like the whole reason you would be attracted to him is because you don't have to think if a guy like Trump is in charge, because he is more than perfectly willing to fucking tell you the way that you think is fine and is what makes you a good American.
It's like
even if he doesn't really believe that, because that's not even the point, because you don't care, because you don't want to have to think about things.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like voting for Trump, it's one of those things of like, at its best, it's just sheer low intelligent ignorance, and at its worst, it's completely willful and malicious ignorance.
Yeah. Yeah, he wants to bring back tariffs. That'll boost our economy. That's not how that works. Why don't you ask Britain how that's working?
Literally, the fact that John Oliver dedicated an entire episode of his show to explaining why Donald Trump doesn't know what a tariff is, specifically that subject.
Yeah,
that's awful.
Yeah, he read the word tariff in a history book when he was in college or something.
So it was associated with the British and the War of American Independence.
Yep. And because there was a part of me that was like, are you honestly referring to a tariff? Or are you trying to refer to an embargo?
Like, are you like it's like are you talking about a tariff, an embargo, or an importation tax? Like, what are you actually talking about? Because these are not the same thing.
Yeah. Because here's the thing about a tariff. A tariff is a tax that is taken from you.
Yeah, it's like if you if you're an American store owner, if there's a tariff on items coming from mainland China, for instance, if you own a store and you are selling Chinese goods, you have to pay extra to be allowed to sell Chinese goods.
Yeah, and that happens no matter what.
Yeah.
That happens no matter what, because even if they're like, no, we're levying it against the importers. Okay.
That means
so who does the cost? Who's the cost get passed on to? Where are you selling it, genius?
It's like, Donald, to import means to bring something in. To export means to send something out. So the Chinese market selling the thing is the exporter, and the American consumer is the importer.
Yeah, the exporter, i.e. the person with the goods, sets the price. Or are we going to do something about that too?
Because these aren't the same thing.
They aren't the same thing. Yeah, they aren't the same thing. Also, dude. Just fucking hell. But like, it sounds good. Yeah, they'll pay for it. How? You have no sovereignty over how they spend their money.
But we're America. The fuck does that
mean?
What does that mean?
Yeah, why does that matter here? You know, you're fucking with trade, man. You're fucking with trade. So wars get started. You know,
we live in a global economy. Whatever you think of it, it's a global
economy. Yeah,
you're fucking with it.
Yeah, are we like if he had said we're going to raise the price of our goods going to China, that would have at least made sense. It would have been a bad idea, but it would have made sense. It'd have been like, okay, I don't know how you're going to get all these people to agree to do that, but that would at least, the intention at least makes sense with the statement. It's a practical impossibility, but, you know, at least I could see the logic there. But no, you don't even go that far. That's too much.
By the way, something that's very cute is you can't see him.
Oh, kitty.
Because he's like nested in all the comforters and shit right now, so you can't see him. But literally, when you and I both started, we both shouted, "God damn it, it's a global economy."
Yeah.
He chirped in agreement, and it was very funny.
Aww. Well, like, okay, so here's a horrible thing I hate to have to admit. There's a reason everybody has shit made in China and then shipped over on the slow boat. It's cheaper.
I mean, yes.
It's cheaper. It's cheaper than having a manufacturer in America, in the city you live in, make it, and you driving over and picking it up by yourself. It's cheaper than that.
Which
it just is.
Be possible. And
yet, you know, particularly when we're talking about publishing. Oh my God.
Yeah, no.
The difference at the lowest end, actually at all ends, at the higher ends, it gets absolutely fucking ridiculous. You're saving tens of thousands of dollars, like by doing it, having shit done in China and then shipped to you.
Okay, that actually, now I think about it, that is the biggest indictment as a leftist that I can possibly make, which is to go, okay, let's think about this for a second. Capitalism has come to the point where it is cheaper to export jobs literally to the other side of the globe,
Mm-hmm.
exploit poverty on that other
Yeah,
side of the
exploit
globe.
their labor.
Exploit their labor and poverty, and have it shipped back to be sold to Americans. It's cheaper to do that, and it's more affordable and more
And potentially of
profitable.
and here's the killer, potentially of higher quality.
than it
That
is
whole joke about it's made in China, so it's gonna be made like shit. That's not true anymore. That is not true anymore.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't,
because they've gotten really good at making goods at all levels of quality. From
literally
your bootleg fucking dime store Spooderman action figure that you buy at a bodega, to the $300 fully articulated, beautiful, fully posable action figure that costs $500.
You want to know something
And the
horrifying?
bootlegs of that are of higher quality than the official things made in the States. It's insane.
You want to know something horrifying?
What?
I went into like a bodega not too long ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw the little off-brand, totally not legal Spider-Man action figure.
Oh yeah?
Wait. It no longer says Hencia y Mexico on the bottom.
Wait. Are you serious?
It said made in China. It fucking said made in China.
Made in China, but it still had
fucking
all the Spanish on it.
Fuck.
Even Mexico's getting its shit made in China, baby.
It's fucked. It's fucked. It's fucked.
You know how much I'm like the difference between an overseas shipper printer in China and America is it. Oh my God! Like it will give you sticker shock because you're like, there is no way it's this much less.
Have you seen that people are buying the prefabricated pod housing from China and shipping it into the United States?
Oh, I didn't know that.
You know the ones I'm talking about, right? Like the ones that look like little futuristic pod trailers that you just like push the walls up and shit. People are like having them shipped to the United States. It's so bad that we're getting our shitty housing made there. It's so bad. Oh,
yeah.
The fact that is cheaper and more profitable for American corporations to do that than to make shit here. That is the biggest indictment against capitalism I can possibly make. That's insane.
Well, I know how it happened.
Well, yeah.
I know how it happened, which was China did exactly what we did right after World War II.
Yes.
Which was we invested in manufacturing. As a country, we invested in it. That's what they've been doing, and they've got more people.
They like us.
And
took advantage of they took advantage of a production and manufacturing vacuum and created a prosperity boom for themselves.
And they've now maintained it for longer than we did.
Yes.
You know, we only did it for like 15 years.
To be fair, authoritarianism is very good at preserving shit like that.
Fair.
It's very good at it. It's very good.
Fair. Well, like, it's. Well, I look at it and I'm just sort of like, yeah. But there's also something. It's also why smaller government and investing in manufacturing are diametrically opposed.
Yes.
They're absolutely diametrically opposed. Because manufacturing is such a big deal. Like, because you need to be able to do it at scale. You know, you need to be able to do it at scale. That's the big issue.
If you have a country that operates under a hierarchical governmental state, i.e., a country as we currently understand it to exist, if you have one of these, if you want manufacturing and infrastructure to be on a national scale successful, you have to, by definition, get the government involved in the regulation and oversight of this, which means a larger government. It just does.
Yeah, it just does. It just does. You know, so the answer is not Ronald Reagan the devil. Au contraire. Au contraire, because it was Reagan that basically opened the floodgates for deregulation, which is how we divested ourselves almost completely from manufacturing.
Yeah, you know, if I blame capitalism,
everything moved, and during the Reagan years, everything moved from manufacturing to the financial sector. You know, now we had not really been investing in manufacturing for a bit, but that was the official nail in the Reagan years was the official nail in the coffin.
He really distanced us from it. He really did. He really drove that wedge.
Yeah, if you want to know how Wall Street got all its control, Reagan.
And I'll be honest with you, if I'm saying something is late stage capitalism's fault, most likely Ronald Reagan is involved in the blame.
Yeah. Because think about it. Like before, the financiers, the financial class, did not have nearly the say in the way business was run that it does now.
Nothing makes me want to bring out a guillotine quite like the two words financial class. Nothing quite makes me want to start cutting people's heads off. Like those two were, I know it just makes
yeah. Because like, so here's the thing: the financial class always got the lion's share of the money, but that wasn't enough. They wanted all the money and the power because they didn't have all the power before. Before, the only thing they could do is say no. But in a world of, oh God, what are they called? In the world of private that allows for private equity firms. You know, which when you look into how private equity actually works as a legal fiction, fuck you. It's basically, the whole point is to basically take equity away. Now that equity has been removed from the people that actually make the thing, where does it go? Private equity firm. Its sole reason to exist is to remove equity that would have normally have gone to the people who worked at the company to themselves. And now it's been going on for so long that people don't realize it was ever another way.
It's
part of the reasons that the old unions used to work is that you had to give shares of the company to people who had worked there for a certain number of years. It was law. And then 2 Republican administrations later, being Nixon and Reagan, gone.
Pension funds, what are they?
You got to get the pension money. That's where the big money is. You know, the owners, they have you. They control you. You know, like
dude, it's one of those things of like, this is why, okay. This is why I keep telling other leftists, no, you have to let people like Alan Moore and I do shit. You have to let us do shit because, you know, I get why.
When did leftism fail to stir the heart of men?
Yes. There's
you know, like, come on.
But also just the whole thing of like, look, I get why leftists are suspicious of magical thinking. I get it. Because they're right. They see the fascists use it all the time.
Oh, yeah. No, correct. They do.
They do. But here's the thing. It's not because magical thinking is fascist. It's because magical thinking is a powerful...
It's a powerful tool. Yeah, it's a powerful tool.
It's a powerful influence tool. And that's what they want, so they're using it. I keep telling other people on my side of shit, I'm like, no, let us do our crazy shit. It will do things.
Yeah, shit will happen.
I promise you, it'll do things. And again, it's like, well, how are you so sure? I'm like, private equity exists. That's not real. It's not real.
Yeah.
And yet it controls an entire section of the economy. So
we're already dealing in the realm of the fictional, my friend. You might as well use the powers of the fictional.
You might as well get a writer.
Yeah, good way of putting it. Because here's the thing. Ethics did not destroy Drake. A bard destroyed Drake. A bard named Kendrick Lamar destroyed Drake. Think about that.
Man, aren't you tired trying to strike a chord, and it's probably
A minor.
And again, we all saw the video as he fucking hopscotches down.
Yeah, he knew that was a banger right there. He knew it was a banger.
Beat your ass and have the Bible of God watch it.
Yeah, oh my God. Like, I'm listening to that whole build up and I'm like, oh my, whoa. You know, and as Josh Johnson said, I thought we were rapping.
I thought we were rhyming. Like, we were rhyming.
Yeah, we were rhyming, you know, like Kendrick Lamar just basically went up to Drake and verbally killed his whole family in front of him.
Again, Drake did initially, let's be fair.
Yeah, 50 Cent producing this documentary on Diddy. Holy shit.
I can't wait to see it.
Holy shit. I never thought I would say, well, thank the devil for 50 Cent.
You know how much you have to hate a motherfucker to voluntarily edit? Like, think about that for a second.
Dude.
Because he's producing, editing, and directing this shit. Like
yeah, you gotta look at that motherfucker for 8 hours a day.
He hates him enough to edit like B-roll and shit. Like
that's next level hate.
That's a level of hatred that I don't think I actually have in me. I honestly don't think I have that in me. That's amazing.
Actually, if I could go back in time and kill one person before they did the dirty deed, it would be oh crap, I'm spacing on his name. The guy who made it possible for the equity of houses to be sold as debt. The guy from The Big Short that they talk about in the beginning and then never mention again. Mm-hmm. That guy. I would try to stop that guy.
Because legitimately no one else would have thought of it.
Yeah. You know, it's like, well, it's also one of these things where people are like, we take our best and brightest and what do we shuffle them towards? Finance. Hey, how come America's not really good at making anything anymore? Because they don't have best people.
It's like,
the best people are now in finance. And the problem with finance is that you're fucking with everybody's money. So inherently, everything you're doing is unethical.
Also, by pushing everyone towards finance, we depleted the manufacturing sector.
Yeah, we did.
Just entirely is bad. It's real bad.
Oh yeah, it's super bad. It's why I hate playing that game. I hate playing those games. There are a lot of games I hate playing, and that's one of them. You know, not the least of which is like, you have to deal with those people. You know, like that's really honestly my big thing. It's like meeting with like an artist or a writer is kind of a joy. Meeting with like financiers and money people is a drag. It's a drag, you know. And why is it a drag? Because so many of those people are drags. They're not in drag. They just are a drag.
Basic rule of thumb. If you're a human being who's under the age of 46 and you voluntarily, on an average day, will wear khakis and penny loafers, I kind of want to kill you, so stay away from me. I will attempt to strangle you in the street.
It's pretty bad. You know, but
because I know.
Yeah.
Because I know. Because I know. Because no one who does that isn't one of these people.
And the thing is I love working with professionals, and I love dealing with people with business acumen, but there's a huge difference when you're dealing with people who just are primarily about themselves, which is what you get. And that, like, you do actually feel like your faith in humanity being leached out, just like being around them, you know, which is why I'm it's probably one of the reasons I'm poor. I don't kiss up well. You know, I can fight I can back up, but I can't kiss ass. It's not really part of my nature.
See, I'm
every time I try to, I get unreasonably angry.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Like, I get unreasonably angry to the point where it's sort of where, like, I find myself going like, how hard would it be to bite a guy's head off? You know?
Can I try?
Can I try? I could probably do it in an hour if I just gnaw on his neck really hard.
You think if I create a vacuum seal with my lips, I can suck a guy's eye out of his socket?
Yeah.
Thinking about it.
I feel, and there's a part of me that is like, oh my God, I can't believe Harlan Ellison mailed a dead gopher to a publisher. And I'm like, I can. That sounds like one way of dealing with it. He punched a guy so hard he put him in the hospital during a fucking script meeting. Yeah, I can see that. I can see myself doing that. I can see myself also being in prison. You know, but I can see myself doing that. And it's because when I get right down to it, I'm like, no, I'm really bad at kissing ass. I'm really bad at it. I'm so uncomfortable with it. Because if I have to kiss ass, I know I'm in a dysfunctional organization.
Oh, nothing like a toxic work environment, though.
Yeah, I know, right?
Also, you should find the chat saying, I gotta wear that for work. Please give me a break on that, Yogi. Okay. Watch your fucking ass. Watch your fucking ass.
Oh my God.
But yeah, no, that's how to put it. That's how capitalism utilizes magical thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah. And speaking of magical thinking.
Yes.
Speaking of magical thinking, you know this. Mm-hmm. I did a lot of that this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I did 2 days of it. 2 days of it. Jack, the longest session I had was like 7 hours.
Damn.
Yeah. Now for everyone else watching, so Yogi is constructing shit on the astral plane. Yogi has decided to finally create an astral temple on the astral plane, which, here's the thing. The thing that always gets me is everyone who's just like, yeah, but that shit is just like, it's just dream logic and imagination, blah, blah, blah. Then why am I so tired?
You'd be amazed at how far that shit'll get you. Like, that's one of the things that I do have to agree with the manifestors on, which is you would be surprised at how much it gets you. But here's the other thing. You got to remember, it's all in the mind. Just like in Parappa the Rappa. Jump, kick, it's all in the mind. Like.
But so is everything.
Yeah, but so is everything. Yeah. It's all in the mind. And it may only apply to you. It may only apply to you, and it may not apply every time, because think of all the times that your brain does shit that, like, you didn't ask for. You are only so in control. So be careful out there. But no, I think that there is actual value in it. I think that there is great psychological value in it, if nothing else. And I'm
just going to say this preemptively right away, just because I'm talking about this and I'm on camera. If anyone who is watching this and heard what I just said that I was doing this past weekend is thinking to themselves, ooh, I'd like to know how to... Yogi, tell me how to do that. Bitch, get me a check for $150 or get out of my face. I am not taking students at this time. You either...
Well, yeah, you're in the middle of something.
Like, I'm like, you either going to give me money or live in my house and give me labor. We don't do shit for free. That ain't how this works.
That sounds like ADHD. What part sounds like ADHD? I'm not saying you're wrong. I just not entirely sure what you're referring to there, Sun Wizard. You might be entirely correct. Before I say anything, I want to make sure I'm saying it about the right thing. Funny thing I try not to assume everyone's thinking the same way I do, because I've gotten in trouble for that.
That's the thing. You get in trouble for that a couple times. You learn not to.
Yeah. These racist memes are basically spreading incorrect information about the Aztecs, trying to say that the Aztecs were uncivilized until the conquistadors arrived. Depends on what you mean by civilized, I guess. Like, they were descending it. All right, here's what I will say. The Aztecs were making a fast descent into complete barbarism by the time the conquistadors arrived. It had not always been that way. The conquistadors basically lucked the fuck out.
Also, I think people tend to also like group the Aztecs as like a single.
Oh, by doing random shit. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But people like to like lump the Aztecs together as like one, like homogenous group, and I'm like, these are several.
It was a specific empire.
Yeah, well, yeah, but the Aztecs were actually made up of several smaller empires that eventually joined together. But there's different. You get what I'm saying? Like people like on both sides of that, people refer to the Aztecs as like one. Like a solid unit, and I'm like, there was a lot of disagreement.
Oh yeah, like any empire, it was multi-ethnic and multicultural.
Exactly.
It's the nature of empires to be that way, because you've gone out and conquered different people.
One of my favorites is remember that section of the Aztec Empire that lived around like Laguna, like Guadalupe, like the ones who painted the spiritual leader in gold every year. And, And then he jumped in the lake to offer the gold to the moon goddess.
Yes.
I love that one. That one's awesome. See, people don't make sacrifices like they used to. No, fuck all this televangelism shit. We need to like get an old dude and like paint him in powdered gold and have him like jump in a river or shit. That's a sacrifice. You know, fucking gold body paint every year to the river god. That's a fucking sacrifice. Holy shit.
Yes.
More like a confederacy of empires opposed to Roman empires. No, exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. That's what the Aztecs were. It was a confederation of like smaller individual kingdoms that became like an imperialist unit, essentially. It's not even unit, like confederacy.
Yeah. Once you've got an empire, by almost its definition, is going to be multicultural, even if it has a monoculture, because that's kind of the difference between an empire and a country.
Aztecs did have public sanitation a lot better than the conquistadors had. Yeah, true.
Yeah, definitely.
True.
Definitely. There was a whole religious sect that dealt with the sewers.
I'm gonna say this, and I know it's gonna hurt some people's feelings, but I also don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And that is that Europeans, you have been late to the hygiene train. So calm down.
Yeah.
This is a recent development.
Yeah. A lot of other places had hygiene because it's not too hard to like notice that if you boil animal fat, your hands get clean. You know, it's not that hard.
It's not that hard to like when you wash clothes in the river to notice that the lye and like tallow buildup actually forms like a sud. That you know, just take some observation. I don't know why the Europeans were so late to that. Like, actually, was it climate? Like, I don't know. And let me actually be more specific. I am talking about Central and Western European.
Yeah.
Specifically.
You know,
I
will say your Germany's, your France, your England's, you know. Spain's, yeah. Like what? I wonder what that was.
Thank God that the Moors came into Spain because holy shit.
You're like, man, there's some dirty people over here. Look, here have a washcloth and a bar of soap. Holy crap!
Literally one of my favorite things, and it will never stop being one of my.
How else will ladies know that I'm in the room if my BO isn't enough to announce that I have arrived? You know what? Actually, I just thought of something. It might be because those regions are so cold.
See, I'm going to contradict that.
Okay.
Scandinavians.
Yeah, but the Scandinavians have hot springs.
Not all of them. Though.
Not all of them, but like hot springs are a thing in the Scandinavian countries.
Yeah.
You could bathe and be warm.
True, but like there's not a lot of hot springs in like, for instance, like in Denmark and Norway. That's more Iceland and Finland and I don't think, like in Denmark, for instance, I don't think there's actually a lot of them, and I think the Danes were like some of the biggest international like traders at that point. But I'm saying I think I could be entirely wrong about this, but I will say though that leads me to one of my favorite things, and it will never ever stop being one of my favorite things, is the fucking angry, hateful letter written by an English monk in the 1600s complaining of, like, I think it was 1500s, complaining about like these goddamn savage Scandinavian traders. They're seducing all our women by being clean and not smelling like shit.
Wow.
He's literally no, that's literally what it is.
Wow.
He literally wrote a letter, like addressed to like the rest of the.
How unmanly the Scandinavians are with their high-pitched yurgurd and their ability to bathe.
Yeah, it was. They were literally complaining about. Well, they keep stealing all our English women. How are they stealing all the English women? They have the audacity to seduce them through not smelling like manure. And I'm like,
wow.
You know?
Wow, Kira's like the smell of the Spanish Inquisition. Everyone smells the Spanish Inquisition. Oh my God. And
Sam Van Dam, glad I was born at a time when most people washed that
ass. Yeah. But I sometimes wonder about that, you know, like, is it a particular temperature? Because like a lot of England is a lot like San Francisco. And I'm like imagining a world where the water I couldn't have hot water on demand. And I'm like, I don't know how much I enjoy bathing in this climate if I couldn't have warm water.
No. You see, because here's the thing, right? My people live in virtually every country on the European continent.
Right.
Even, and I mean this, even when we had horses and carts, we fucking bathed every day. It's part of our cultural thing. It's a thing.
Right.
We have to do it. So, and here's the thing: in the colder climates, the way we handle that is, oh, well, look, we can build a fire, we can boil water, and dip a cloth in it.
Well,
cleaning agents on the cloth.
Not. Yeah. But now imagine you're. No, I got nothing.
Yeah, you see, the minute you remember that we have fire, the minute you remember that we have fire, it's like no, fuck you.
Well, I'm wondering if maybe it does actually have something to do with agriculture. You know, maybe it really is like, well, you're around horse shit all the time, and so your sense of smell is just fucked, and so you don't realize how much BO you've got going on. I'm trying here, man. I'm trying to make it make sense. You know, but what it probably really is that all the infrastructure that did keep that kind of shit intact during the Roman Empire just fell into complete disuse, and they were unable to maintain it. So it just all crumbled, which is why if you dig in a fucking basement in the middle of London somewhere, or say the middle of England somewhere, you might find an aqueduct.
And then everyone who came after the aqueduct had no idea what it was.
Yeah, no idea what it was. They were like, what's this? Oh, fucking probably from the days of Boudica. Who the fuck knows? You know? They really honestly didn't. You know, they were like, what is this for? I don't know. What's it doing now? Nothing.
Build shit over it,
you know. Quick, make track housing, you know, like.
Make track housing.
But it's
true. Oh my God. Yeah, no, it's one of those things where you're like, whoo, thank God that and it's odd for me to say this because I understand all the messed up shit they did, but thank God that like the Ottoman Empire survived so that people remembered what soap was. Holy shit.
Well, one of the things that I found out was very interesting in some areas of the area in like Turkey, Greece, you know, like that part of Europe, the Mediterranean. Yeah, those areas of the Mediterranean into the eastern parts of Europe. They had subterranean cities.
Yes.
Because we keep finding them. And it's one of those like, wait, there was a... This was a city down here.
oh, you've been looking at like stuff like Poklateki and shit like that.
Yeah.
And Turkey and shit.
Yeah, and you're like,
that shit's fascinating. That shit's fascinating.
you know, and you're just like, well, what was this all for? And they're like, well, you know, there was this pogrom at the time, and so blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, huh. So they made a whole city?
And then
that's kind of cool.
And the thing that's so fucking insulting is the fucking conspiracy fake archaeology bros who try to like fit these legitimate wonders of human ingenuity and engineering.
Yeah.
And like fit them into their bullshit like lizard Atlantean conspiracy theories. And I'm just like, fuck you for denigrating the works of mankind.
it's like, you know, you look at that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, things like that. I'm sure like India's also got things like that out the ass. It you know, because I'm like, you don't go from living in huts to being able to build the Taj Mahal in a generation.
No, you don't. There's all these like amazing like innovations that you make and discover over time as a civilization.
Yeah. And sometimes that information gets lost. Sometimes you don't keep that shit up and it decays, it goes away. You know, the Father Time, Mother Earth and Father Time do their thing. And
the fact that the fact that and I'm going to do something a little familiar.
Phantom of the Opera technically lived in the catacombs under Paris, which are a real thing, by the way.
And specifically in the catacomb section of the catacombs that's directly below the Paris Opera House.
Yep.
But yeah, no, like, and I'm going to use like a Eurocentric example, but only because I think it's more familiar to a lot of people who are currently here. But consider, in the time period between the fall of Rome and the ending of the Dark Ages and like the move towards the Renaissance, within that time period, which really in the course of history is not that long, it's a couple hundred years. It's like
yeah.
We're talking less than 6 centuries here. Within that small frame of time, an entire continent or section of half of a continent forgot that the Earth was a sphere, because we knew that. They knew that. The majority of a continent forgot that the Earth was a sphere and forgot how medicine worked. I want you to think about that. That's terrifying.
Yeah, because it'll happen again.
Yeah, it will, of course.
It'll happen again, you know? Like, and I don't know why, but that gives me hope. I don't know why that gives me hope, but it does. It's that feeling of like, oh, okay, no, humanity will bounce back. It's fine. And it's why whenever I hear things like billionaires with bunkers, I'm like, I'm going to tell you exactly what becomes of that. Okay?
It gets rediscovered several hundred years and people think it's a cult?
No.
Oh, what?
You're not building a bunker. I know what you're building. They don't know what they're building, but I know what they're building. Tombs. Tombs.
Oh,
Pharaoh's tombs.
Oh, they're gonna be a really shitty version of the Valley of the Kings. Oh,
yeah.
Oh no.
And they're gonna die down there, and then everyone's gonna be like, "Hey, we keep digging up all this shit. What the fuck? The fuck is this?
We keep digging up these tanks filled with rich dead men surrounded by all their shit.
Well, yeah, surrounded by all their shit and their servants and their pets and all that crap. Like, what the hell's going on? Because we never thought for a moment that the Egyptian kings did it to themselves. Because that doesn't make any sense.
Because it's something a crazy person
Because it's something a crazy person does. But then again, we've got, once again, China shows us the truth. They did that shit in China. A motherfucker had an entire terracotta army fucking made so that in the afterlife, he could conquer heaven.
I mean, have we ever checked? Maybe he did.
Well, I'm not saying he didn't. But you gotta admit, that's cray-cray. How much effort and resources went into building that terracotta army? How many artisans? How many man hours? How much time?
No, wouldn't that be funny as shit if, like, we all die and, like, there is a heaven, but it's been conquered by that guy, so the only person getting in is the one person who bothered to remember his name?
Well, good thing he's in the history books. You know, like, but yeah, that would be kind of funny. But yeah, I'm like, no, you're trying to live like the old pharaohs, dude. Like, this is ridiculous.
But here's the thing. They were dead.
Yeah, the motherfuckers are dead. Wouldn't you rather, like, I don't know, leave behind something? Wouldn't you rather be a... See, this is me.
I should have.
Wouldn't you rather be a Wouldn't you rather be a better person? Wouldn't you rather, you know, care about people? Do you know how much, like, one of those fucking billionaire bunkers could go towards helping hospitals in Africa? But no, they don't care about that because that's not about them.
Literally a fraction of this could have done that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I just... Wait, that's what that army was made to punch Jade Emperor in the face? Yes. Yeah.
Which, to be fair...
Yeah, the Terracotta Army is real, and that's why it was made.
Which, to be fair, if you believe that you were about to see the Jade Emperor, wouldn't you want a Terracotta Army to punch him in the face?
Yeah.
I mean, I got nothing against Buddha, but I think we all got a little something against the Son of Heaven. I think we all got a little something against the Jade Emperor.
Yeah. The fuck is this? Yeah, but yeah, that's why, but this is, I'm like, here's what I'm saying. It's not going to be young adult dystopia. They're going to be forgotten kings buried in tombs, and no one will remember who they are until we dig them up and go like, Elon Musk the first, I guess. Hey, quick. Why don't all you fucking rich guys from now come in here and violate this artifact with your DNA? Why don't you breathe on it? Here, have some radioactive fucking jewelry and fucking get cancer from that.
Elon Musk's accidental mummy being made into aphrodisiac powder.
Actually, what I want to see is his mummy permanently in that jumping position.
Oh my god, yes. Please, in the Smithsonian, please.
Yes. Just be like, haha.
Also, hey Jack. I should have prayed to the ancestors for luck. How lucky can they be?
They're dead. Eventually that's just gonna run out, man. But yeah, these bunkers are fucking stupid. Because I find myself going like, wouldn't you rather build, I don't know, playground, public fountain,
Well, that
park?
requires thought.
Something people can enjoy. Like, that's what I do. I mean, would I be trying to buy my way into heaven? Yeah, probably.
But you know what's interesting about this topic, though, is I'm so glad that you introduced this concept to my brain. I'm so glad. No. I really am. I'm honestly so glad because do you know how good it's been since how long it's been since I've been able to have a good like Ozymandias moment?
Ozymandias?
Yeah. Yeah, like no.
Yeah.
I love a good Ozymandias moment. Like I love to be able to look at like dumb rich fucks and envision the future. Behold, I am Ozymandias. Like, behold my works, ye mighty, and weep. Like, I love.
Well, like I've also figured out. I have discovered the story of Ozymandias. The story of Ozymandias himself, not the story of his busted statue.
Oh, of like the actual pharaoh.
Yeah, the actual. It's called Atlas Shrugged. Atlas Shrugged and the Fountainhead, in my opinion, are the prequel to the poem Ozymandias. Aha!
Well, shit.
I knew the story was in the culture somewhere. I knew it was there somewhere. You know?
I just, oh.
Yeah, why I hate preppers. You know, no. Okay, here's why I hate preppers. COVID happened and they all denied it. And I was like, this was your moment, man.
They didn't do shit.
They didn't do shit. This was your moment. Like I was like, well, I guess the preppers are gonna be happy. They all got their bunkers that they're gonna, retreat down into.
But that's the thing. It's because they're not actually survivalists. They're LARPing at being survivalists. They're cosplaying at being survivalists.
Yeah.
It's literally the equivalent of when Marie Antoinette and her fucking showcase of airheads would go to a palace in the country and go, oh, look at me, I am dressed as a milkmaid. Isn't it so fun to pretend to be a commoner?
Yeah.
It's the modern American equivalent of that shit.
Yeah.
And you know who we did to those people?
Guillotines.
We cut their fucking heads off.
Yep. Because here's the thing. It's an attempt to make sure your fate is not the fate of humanity. And what I'm saying is, there are worse things. There are very worse things. There are much worse things. I mean, imagine your body being paraded around as an oddity of antiquity. Dirty English people's hands touching you.
No, stop it. Stop it. No. Oh.
Yeah. People afraid to go in your tomb because they think it's cursed. Because after all, you died in there. You think that's gonna be a thing in the far if there is an apocalypse and they go in those things and all the shit goes down. Those are gonna be cursed lands.
I do want okay. That being said, I do want everyone to be too afraid to fuck with my burial place because they think it will curse them. I do want people to be too afraid to fuck with my remains because of that. I do.
Jack Yogi, what is the story about Atlas Shrugged and the Fountainhead? Oh my God.
It's objectivism.
Yeah, it's Ayn Randian objectivism.
It's literally Ayn Rand wrote 2 books to try to show how her horrible philosophy would make a better America. That's literally all it is. And anyone, especially a straight man, who tells you that either of these books are his favorite, run away really fast. Because that's a man who wants to eventually amass enough wealth for himself to own you as another human being.
Yeah.
So get away from that.
Because nothing is sexier than the businessman. That's Atlas Shrugged, by the way. Hey, I'm just going to let an entire industry fall apart because after it falls apart, that's when I take over.
Yeah, Atlas Shrugged is literally about a group of rich people forming an enclave somewhere else because they think that as soon as they all leave, society will crumble without them, and they'll be able to make a new, brand new, shiny society made out of pure capitalism and only populated by rich people.
Yeah, and my opinion is this. Oh, please do. Please go away.
Please go fuck off.
Yeah, please fuck off, because, like, I ain't got time for this, you know? Like, oh, fucking Atlas Shrugged, most overrated fucking Ayn Rand, most overrated fucking writer and philosopher of all time, right next to L. Ron Hubbard. I said it.
Yeah, no, that checks out. I mean, like,
yeah. They're kind of psychopathic, you know.
No,
and
not kind of.
And they are the favorite of ultra conservative types. You know, because it's basically saying, yeah, we're the best, we're the best, we're the best. You know, and I'm sort of like,
privatize everything, make all services unavailable to the poor.
Yeah. Fuck you. You know, but communists only care about the capitalists when it comes to money. Yeah, because nobody likes you. What else is there to like? You based your entire world and worth on money, and now that's the only thing people care about because it's the only thing you give the world.
I literally want to, like, it's one of those weird things where, okay, have you ever had these kind of moments, like, maybe not with this exact subject, but with, like, other things? I've had people who know who I am, who have known me for years, try to argue, either like in the real world or in media, trying to, like, argue, like, a pro position of like some capitalist or some company or whatever, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, you do remember I actively want to put billionaires in jail, right? Like, as a person, that's who I am. I actively want to arrest people and jail them for having millions, billions of dollars.
Yeah, because you can't have that much wealth without having created a huge amount of human suffering.
No, exactly. There's no such thing as someone who's rich and innocent at the same time. That doesn't exist. It's not real.
Yeah, because, like, even on small scales, it happens, and and I feel bad about that.
You know,
but my feeling bad about it doesn't change nothing. You know,
it's kind of like how I enjoy Batman as a concept, like, as like a media concept.
Yeah.
But I openly admit, yeah, no, everything that happens here is Bruce Wayne's fault.
Yeah. Oh, in the world of where someone actually does this, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, everything here is Bruce Wayne's fault. It's one of those things of just like, yeah, no, he could just be spending all this money on, I don't know, infrastructure and education. He could be doing that. He's not.
Yeah, you know, and sure, in the comics he is, but, you know, that's just an answer to that argument. You know, Bruce Wayne is the problem with Bruce Wayne is the same problem with Superman. They're fictional. You know, like, if you need them, if you need them as gods in a fictional world, they're fantastic. They're great. I recommend them. But once you get into the world of the really real, that whole thing falls apart.
No, the problem with Superman, Jack, is that he's a fucking dork.
I can live with that. I can live with Superman being a dork. You know, I can. I don't need the guy that saves the world to be the coolest dude ever. I just need him to save the world. And I will sing his praises as such. I kind of...
I kind of need him to just not be like a milk drinking Eagle Scout. That's all I. That's my only.
See, I kind of need Superman to be that. I actually, that's what I like about Superman. You know, that he is dorky, that he is like a kind of a fuddy-duddy. You know, I think that that's actually kind of compelling.
I am here talking shit, and I know I'm actively like just.
You know, if you want me to tell you that Batman is cooler than Superman, oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, they're just both.
Anyone is cooler than Superman on that level.
Actually,
Booster Gold is cooler than Superman on that level.
Actually, no. You know who I think balances cool and dorky really well, though?
Who?
Aquaman.
Depends on which version of him.
Fucking hook for a hand, bearded, long.
Oh, I love that version of Aquaman.
He's such a fucking himbo. I love him. I love him so much. But though I know I am sitting here talking shit.
See, I always thought the Aquaman was kind of cool. You know, yeah, I was that kid. You know,
dude, he controls.
He breathes underwater. He controls the sea. He talks to sharks. He commands fish. That's pretty awesome. And by fucking default, almost any chick he runs into is gonna be a mermaid. That's good. That's awesome. That sounds great.
King of
Atlantis. You know, like damn, that sounds pretty sweet.
Everyone wants to make fun of Aquaman's powers.
I love Brave and the Bold Aquaman.
Yes, no, exactly. Everyone wants to make fun of Aquaman's powers until you remember what a colossal squid is and the fact that he could have one destroy a city.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean? Like
outrageous, chum. You know, like I can't, yes. God, I can't quite do that voice, but like I always loved it. It's like, don't let your continued and repeated defeats get you down.
I love that. I love that shit. Also,
your repeated and humiliating
defeats. Oh, and I know I'm here sitting here talking shit about Superman being a dork, but then again, my favorite moment with Superman ever.
Yeah.
Is that fucking it's in that fucking Christmas episode of Justice League with him and Martian Manhunter at his parents' house for Christmas.
Oh, I don't remember this one. Is this a Justice League episode?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes it is. And Mr. and Mrs. Kent are sitting there talking about like, oh yeah, no, he always got so excited about like whenever like me and Mrs. Kent would put out his presents on the night before, and then fully grown Clark Kent Superman outfit turns and goes, you mean when Santa would deliver the presents?
Don't ruin the magic, you know.
Yeah, no, exactly. And in that one moment, my heart did kind of just go, oh.
Yeah. That's what makes Superman great, you know. Like that's what makes him great is that he is a superpowered being, but at the end, you know, kind of a soft dork, you know.
He's a mild-mannered farm boy from Kansas who loves his mom.
Yeah. You know, like that's great stuff. You know, like that's what we want to, but that's what we want to believe the best of the Heartland is. You know,
and then the DC movie universe destroyed that.
That's what made me mad. You know, because I'm like, you're taking away my fantasy of what it means. Thank you, Fabrizio Chiapacase, I think. If I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry. But yeah. Just that dumb stuff. Like, you mean Santa Claus, you know, Dad. Mom says that you're starting fights again. Oh, don't worry, son, he'll live. Can't be doing this, Father. There's only one fight. I was like that one episode of like of the Bruce Timm like Superman show
Yes.
I was like, no, that's Pa Kent, man. You know, that's why it was so brilliant to bring the Kents back to life after Crisis on Infinite Earths. So we could have moments like this where, you know, Superman's still like his daddy's son. You know? And Pa Kent is awesome. You're totally like, nah, Pa Kent's way better than Jor-El. Fuck Jor-El. Absentee piece of shit. You know, who needs that guy? That guy's a piece of crap. Spirit Dad is, he gets a Fortress of Solitude, but he gets a Fortress of Solitude. Oh, thanks, Dad. You know, what's Pa Kent give him? Family. And America. You know?
Christmas morning memories, bitch.
Bitch, yeah, exactly.
You know? Fucking, like, oh my God. Like, yeah, no. It's one of those weird things with, okay, Jor-El, you're, one of two things is happening. Either A, he's dead and can't do much in the story.
Right.
Or B, he's been alive the whole time and hasn't said shit.
Yep.
These are both bad for different reasons.
Yeah, I always, man, I was so mad at the DC universe. Like, because I found myself going like, no. Instead of Batman meeting Superman, Batman versus Superman, which was a dumb idea to begin with. Because I was of the opinion that the second Superman movie needed to involve the Bottle City of Kandor. You know, need to involve the Bottle City of Kandor, so that in a Justice League movie, you could have someone like Brainiac or Apocalypse hold up the bottle and is like, but what of the people of Kandor, Kal-El? One of them. No, Superman, you gotta save everybody. You gotta figure out how to do it. Come on, Superman.
You're Superman.
You're Superman. You gotta do it. You know, and then
Truth, justice, in the American
way. And then it looks like he fails, and you're like, no, again, and like that. Oh, and then he wins again. Yay! Like, don't tell me I went into Superman with a bad attitude. I was ready for Superman. I love it when Superman is dorky like that, because I'm like, no, that's the whole deal.
I didn't go
You need to feel like
attitude.
you're a 7-year-old kid and your dad is secretly Superman.
I didn't go in with a bad attitude, but I came out with one.
Came out with one. That is for sure.
And that's fucking your fault.
Your fault, movie.
Fucking...
That's your fault. Like the fact that Mark Waid, the guy who wrote Kingdom Come, he wrote the most scathing review. And it was, and the moment Superman killed Zod, a guy stood up and yelled, "That's the fucking last straw. You just lost me, fucking movie." And had to be escorted out of the theater. And I felt for that man, because that was me. And I was
Superman does it because Superman wouldn't do that.
Because Superman wouldn't do that. And I'm sitting there like, you're the guy that wrote Kingdom Come. Yeah, we've hit a new low, man. Like, he was like, look, I wrote one of the darkest Superman stories that's ever been published.
And I think this is bullshit.
And I think this is horse shit. You know? Because say what you will about how you can say what you will about how dark that story gets, and it does. You know, the thing that Mark Waid does deliver is the heroics. You know, like, just, oh man, one of the reasons I wanted the DCU to work out is I wanted them to do Kingdom Come. You know, not Justice League, not the Injustice League, not any of that shit, not even Crisis on Infinite Earths. I wanted them to do Kingdom Come because of a couple of moments. One, when all of Batman's allies fucking take on Lex Luthor, because that moment is awesome. And 2, for the moment, fucking Captain Marvel, aka Shazam, fucking sacrifices himself to stop the nuclear explosion.
Yeah.
Because it's so cool. Just that whole thing. Shazam! We was like, no! Oh, poor Billy Batson.
A true hero.
Yeah. Then there's Superman going like, he was the real Superman, you know? Like, he was the real... You're just like, oh, that's right.
And he does say that, and that hits you
it's so...
hard.
Yeah, it's so good. So good. There's a documentary on Kingdom Come coming out. Holy shit. Yeah, I gotta watch that.
Actually, you want to hear a pretty huge but also completely true indictment I can have against that Superman movie?
Go for it.
Do you know what I would rather do than rewatch that movie ever again?
Read all New 52?
No, I would rather reread the Superman Grounded arc.
Where he just walks for 5 issues? Yeah, that one was pretty bullshit. Like, that was one of the most pretentious things I had ever seen. Like, and I've seen a lot. Just go say it. I've seen a lot. I watched Holy Motors.
But Superman, like, they're just gonna go somewhere else. That crack den is just gonna go somewhere else and set up. You know that, right? Yes, but they won't be here. They will be over there somewhere.
Well, the thing was,
but I cannot speak for over there, for I am here. Over there must speak for itself, as all man must. And from now on,
which would be okay, right, except you can be anywhere in the world in a split second.
Yeah,
like, I actually thought that what a better idea would have been for Superman to assume a real secret identity as like a homeless dude. Like, we know it's him, but he's just walking around, you know.
See, we can't do that because that would make sense.
Well, like that was that's what I wanted, the, like, you know, what has where is Superman kind of thing to go, which is like, no, he's like on a walkabout, and he still responds when, like, the big shit happens. Like, JLA's like, yo, Kent, get off your ass, you know, we need you up here. Then he's like, okay, up and away, right, you know. But the rest of it is just him trying to just figure himself out.
No, Jack, clearly the better option is to have him just walking down the sidewalk for 5 issues in broad daylight.
Forrest Gump it.
In his Superman outfit. Cape and all.
There's a Superman story that's just Jerry? Yes.
It's bad. It's bad.
I would have loved to have seen, like, an honest, like, introspective Superman story. You know? That'd be kind of cool. You know, like, I wouldn't want that to be like the first movie or anything, because, like, let's cover the basics first, you know. But in the comic, you can do that because it's like, well, I mean, everyone knows Superman. In comics, come on. You know, but, like, that would be actually really cool. Like, I did have this one Superman story I wanted to write that was basically Superman orders a sandwich. And it was basically imagine what's it called? A Violent Nature, but it's Superman. And instead of, like, we're following on him on his, like, high adventures, we're following him in all the moments where not really a lot is happening, and he's just dealing with his daily life. You know, so it's like him and Perry White go out and try to get a sandwich, and, like, you know, it doesn't go so great. Perry's, like, bitching about his divorce or whatever, or something something really normal that's a big deal to a person, and, you know, like, Clark's just like, oh man, I'm really sorry about that. that Perry, you know, you could be okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be okay. And like basically the real drama just being that the friendship between those two characters while they do normal daily stuff. You know, one of those like we don't see we see that he's going off and still like fighting crime and all that shit, but it's sort of like, all right, now that Weather Wizard is back in jail, I better check on Perry, see how he's doing. And then it's just like
he keeps avoiding text messages from that fucking ginger with the camera.
yeah, you know, and he goes to Perry's place, and Perry's not doing well emotionally. He's in a bad spot for one reason or another, and it's just. And Clark Kent's just like, you know, thinking back on their friendship while he like does his laundry for him.
Aww.
You know, yeah, exactly. And because I'm like, no, this is an opportunity to really get in with who we think a lot about, like, who, you know, Superman and what he can do, but who's Clark Kent? Because that's the thing about Clark Kent. Clark Kent is who he wants to be.
Yeah.
You know, the only reason he won't give up his powers is he feels like he has a responsibility to use them.
Right. Like Clark Kent is what Kal-El thinks like the ideal human existence for him is.
Yeah. You know, it's not very flashy.
No, but that's the thing. Like it's like, okay, if like, you know, if this essentially godlike being could just live as a regular mortal man, this is how he'd want to spend that. I'm interested to know who that is.
Yeah, how does Superman help mend a broken man's broken heart? You know, like, yes, stuff like that. You know,
how does Superman order a sandwich?
How does he order a sandwich? You know, like that's the stuff I want to, you know, people are like, what, you want to do like a Kevin Smith one where there are people around him like telling dick and fart jokes? I'm like, yeah, actually, yeah, I kind of do. I mean, maybe not that in particular, but like.
But the entire time he smilingly disapproves of everything going
on. Yeah. What if Jay and Silent Bob were hanging out with Superman and didn't know it? You know, he's just hanging out with them, you know, like occasionally, you know, of course he wouldn't buy weed. That would be, you know, it's not for him. But, you know, what if he just decided to like hang out with these goobers for a bit? Like, how would Superman do that? You know? Because we all know what Batman would do. Batman would be a fucking buzzkill. He'd be a dick, you know? But what about old Soups, you know?
I would hate to have dinner with Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I know, right?
I would hate that. I would actually contemplate killing myself. That'd be terrible.
Why not? Yeah, it's like, want to do something else? This seems like it sucks. Like, no wonder your entire life is really about crime fighting. The rest of your life blows.
You know what's really funny is there's a TikTok account where a guy has done like a whole, like, there's over 30 videos of it. It's a huge series of like the Addams Family moves to Gotham.
Okay.
As like, you know, it's like a little like sketch comedy thing that he does, and it's just so funny because in this narrative he's created, what happens is the Addams Family moves to Gotham, and within a month of being there, they have reformed the city simply by being who they are. And Batman is furious. He's like absolutely livid.
Oh man, why doesn't Spider-Man use his powers as photographic skills to expose the corrupt businesses? That's a good question.
I think the excuse for that one is that because Peter is perpetually a teenager, and I'm not saying as in he acts like a teenager. I mean, we never see him older than 22. Like,
I know.
Like, ever. So what I'm gonna say is the reason Spider-Man gets that pass is because he's an optimistic kid who has bad role models because he lives in a world where superheroes exist.
I'm sad we're not gonna. I miss Tom Holland already. You know, I don't know. We're not gonna get no Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, and I'm just a little sad about that.
I don't ever have to really miss Tom Holland because I'm on gay Twitter, so they're.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't ever have to miss Tom Holland. Like I could go on right now. I will find 5 random pictures of shirtless Tom Holland that come across my feed. It just happens.
This is the way it is. Oh my god.
Damn, Skippy.
Damn Skippy. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, Batman in Tromaville, dude.
He would not know what to do.
Toxic Crusaders.
He wouldn't know what to do. He
I
wouldn't
got
know what
no
to do.
girls, and I would. What was it? I got no girls. I got no something until I got radioactive ugly. Toxic Crusaders. Toxic Crusaders.
It's weird. It's weird that Batman wouldn't know what to do in Tromaville because both Tromaville and Gotham are in New Jersey. So it's really weird to say, but he would not know what to do. Now, Harley Quinn would do really well in Tromaville.
Oh, yeah, she'd be fine.
Actually, a lot of the villains would be perfectly fine, actually. Yeah.
Crusaders. Oh, I had no friends, no girls to hug me until I got radioactive ugly.
That really is like the greatest narrative of just like, yeah, no, like what made him the hero of everyone's hearts? Being the Toxic Avenger.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But you know, speaking of like comic-based like properties and shit, I gotta get on watching Agatha all along. I have to get on to watching it. Because I haven't seen it at all yet.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to mention it because I'm not sure one of the characters is the character that I think they are.
Okay. Here's my question, because I haven't seen it at all.
All right.
I have not seen it at all, but is it the teenage boy?
Yeah. Because he's one of 2 characters, and we haven't gotten to the point where it's been revealed yet.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure from the little bit I've seen of like. When you say we, do you mean as in you who are watching it right now?
Yeah.
Or do you mean... Oh, okay, then I'm gonna be quiet because I know something.
So okay. No, it's okay because I'm like,
I don't want to
right now. I'm like, right now he's either Wiccan or Blackheart.
Oh no, he's.
Oh, different.
No. He. Oh no, because I don't know if anyone here has seen it now. I was about to say something, and I'm like, no.
Is this like recent? Is this like most recent episode that I haven't seen kind of shit?
I think so. I
mean, I know who Aubrey Plaza is.
Like, yeah, of course, but like no, because you have to understand. Like, I guessed. My friend Gabriel has seen the entire thing so far, and he's seen the whole thing, and I looked at him and I said, okay, the teenage boy character. And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, is he actually blank? And he was just like, how did you know that? And I'm like, because I know this section of the Marvel universe and my head was putting shit together. So is he actually blank character? And my friend was like, oh shit, yeah. Yeah, you're gonna guess a lot of shit that happened.
Yeah. I'm like, I've narrowed it down to those 2 guys. You know, but I
want to answer you, but I feel like it would be rude to everyone else here because I don't.
Right. You know,
but no, like I really got to get on to watching it because Agatha Hargreaves.
Harkness.
Sorry. Harkness. Agatha Harkness is one of my favorite Marvel characters. I love her. I love her, and I can't help but notice that I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Is this how we're going to eventually get oh my god, why am I
Mephisto?
Yes. I was like, is this how we're actually going
Well, like,
to
yeah,
get
because
here?
like this is the one show. This is the first time I've actually been like, no, for all the times everyone's been like predicting Mephisto, this is the one time where that prediction's legitimate.
And also because here's the thing, I'm like, ooh, it's kind of making me wonder where we're going to go with Fantastic Four, because you know Fantastic Four has been confirmed.
Yeah.
And if you remember, Agatha Harkness makes her first appearance in the Marvel Universe as being the caretaker and governess for their kid.
Really?
Yeah, that's where she's from.
I didn't know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, because the only one that they could trust to be powerful enough and safe enough to watch their kid was the most powerful witch in the Marvel universe.
Oh, I did not know that.
And the Thing figures out once they get to the mansion, figures out immediately she's a witch and is quiet but mentally shitting himself the entire issue. It's really funny.
Debuted as the governess of Franklin Richards and as an ally of the Fantastic Four. Huh.
That's where she first shows up. And I love her because she is literally the most powerful magic user in that she openly states in multiple issues that she is more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme. She is the most powerful magical being in the universe, and I kind of love that. She's awesome. I want to see her fight Galactus. I really do. Because was it in the when we meet her in the comics for the first time, she's already 11,000 years old. At that point, she ancient. She old as shit. She was simultaneously around in canon. She was simultaneously around for the King Arthur bullshit and for Salem. Around for both these things. That's why she has that whole storyline with New Salem where they burn her at the stake. It's fucking. I love Agatha Harkness. She's a great character. And I was really interested in how they introduced her in WandaVision. I was really interested by this.
Yeah.
Because traditionally in comics, she's Scarlet Witch's mentor and teacher.
Right.
So I was very intrigued by that. I was like, what? I was like, where are we going with this?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say that I still think the possibility of that character being Wiccan is the most likely.
I will say this. I don't want to, because I did guess who he actually is, so I don't want to say anything directly, but I will say this. Because I'm also answering Flashman by going Blackheart. You sure it's not Mephisto or Kyton? Here's the thing. If this kid is in fact Wiccan, that's also how we get Mephisto, because remember, Wiccan is Wanda's son because he's actually a piece of Mephisto's soul.
Ooh.
That she was able to grow inside of herself and create life with. So if that is Wiccan, we are definitely getting Mephisto either way.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And maybe so like maybe they actually like put the Blackheart and Wiccan into one, just put Blackheart and Wiccan in one character.
Oh wait, they might have.
Yeah, they might just do that.
They
You because that would, I mean, ain't no Ghost Rider in sight.
It was actually really funny. My friend Gabriel was telling me was answering like little questions I had about the show. Again, I have to watch it this week, but I thought it was so funny because he mentions the character who is a sea witch, or like a witch who like works with like I go like, yes, the Atlantean, and he goes, what? And I'm like, yeah, she's an Atlantean. Well, I don't know. No. I'm telling you that character with that name is the descendant of Atlantean royalty, and that's why she can do sea magic. She's an Atlantean.
Yep.
So this is how we're going to tie into Aquaman at some point.
Wait. Oh, well, that Aquaman's DC.
Fuck it, I don't give a shit.
I
don't give a shit.
You meant Namor.
Yes, I did. Also, it's 1:30 and I'm stoned. So
I'm also well, we should probably maybe we should call it a night. I want to thank everybody for coming down and listening to our bullshit. We got up on that bullshit train early and it just kept coming. But bullshit's got to come in the bullshit station sooner or later, and I think we're at that moment.
Though I do have to say, if that kid is Wiccan, that means we're getting Hulkling, because they got a bang.
Hopefully we'll get there. Hopefully we'll get there. But till next time, remember, Ave Satanas, Disco Inferno, and Satan and I love you all very much. Hail Satan.
Hail Satan, everybody.
Hail Satan, and remember to wash your ass. Y'all take care.